Okay. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. How are we doing, everybody? Joseph Sunderman here. It's been a minute since I've been on. I haven't been streaming as much lately, but that's just because I'm a very busy person. But man, what a week. When I get everything fired up here, we'll get into some discussion perhaps. I got a lot of work to do, a lot of preparation to do this week. I got 3 full days in court for my family case for my beautiful daughter Olivia. And then I have a hearing on Wednesday for we had somebody in our data center that basically locked us out of the servers in our data center, and then we gave them like 5 days of, like, on day one we're like, hey, this isn't okay, we need to address this immediately, please talk to us. Day two, hey, you can't, you know, just continuously going on day after day saying please align with us. I even met with the owner of the company, and I let him ramble on for 10 minutes about how horrible my business partner's company is, and how uh, there's no transparency, no expectations, and things are just like things are such a horrible mess. And I let him go through the whole thing. I've been working on my listening skills, and I still need to work on that adversarial thing because yeah, I know my question was triggering. But when I asked him, I was like, "So you're telling me that you have this company?" Well, first of all, I asked him, "You don't remember working with Icora at all?" Even though I've met with him a few times, and I know I've worked with his leadership team building out their admin sites and their, implementing improvements to their tech stack. So I asked him, I was like, you don't recall ever having any work with Icora before? No, no, I don't know who you are, blah, 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 blah. Oh, okay, that's fair. Question two to the guy was, so you mean to tell me that this company that you're working with that's not transparent, doesn't set expectations, none of that, has been managing your tech stack and doing all these migrations for you, and then building out your business, essentially your infrastructure for your business, and you don't have anything signed by them saying that they can work in your environment, or like you have nothing in writing at all, and you're okay with that? Oh my God, you should have seen the guy's fire in his eyes. This guy flipped the fuck out. Like, he was cussing at me, telling me he was gonna call the cops on me, kicking me out of his office. Like, yeah, Joe, that was really smooth that you sat there and let him get it all out. You tee everything up, and then you ask a question to the guy that just fucking pisses him off to the point where he's kicking you out of his office. And I was super calm the whole time. The guy was screaming, fucking slamming things. And I'm thinking to myself, I remember when he asked me what it is I did, I told him I helped companies, from being reactive to things to being more strategic and managed with things. Who's reactive? We're not reactive. I mean, the dude flipped the fuck out. Like, he was just fucking irate. I was like, well, from our standpoint, this feels extremely reactive in a very negative way. And just to let you know what's going to happen, if we don't get assigned LOA and access back into those servers by X amount of time, we will be disconnecting you from our data centers to protect our environment. Now, again, I'm a startup. I am 5 years into it. Granted, I am working with a small break fix company that really they don't dot their I's or cross their T's, which is something I'm helping them with, but that's on the owner, and I can't back him up anymore. In fact, he's a liability and a conflict in this matter now. I'm trying to unify with the guy, but now I got him kicking and screaming. And so I'm telling him that your status with our tech stack is under review. And now he's kicking and screaming, saying, I'm going to threaten you, and bringing clients into it that are attorneys, as if he's going to. I asked him, like, what is that? This is my legal counsel. So you're saying you're going to use clients of ours that's in our environment to represent you in our conflict? you're okay with that. They're okay with everything's okay with that. Like the dude's so full of shit. Jay, you're so fucking full of shit. You are such a fucking liar and piece of shit. But, in business, it's kind of like marriage where, you know, it's very difficult. You can be so upset with somebody. You're building a life with somebody, and, marriage is hard enough. Both of you have to be on the same page. Both of you have to have the same shared vision. And yeah, when one partner is completely oblivious to it, you have to make a decision. Are they ever going to get it? Are they ever going to share their shared vision with you? Because both of my yeah, it's such a mess. Life is such a mess. You know, I share my shared vision with everybody, and they all want it and they think it sounds great. But when it comes time to stand up to ensure those visions come true, when it comes time to defend your anchors, whether it's clients, children, parents, it can be stakeholders. It could be, there's so many people that you have to, in order to get to your desired state, you have to keep them in your equation. And when you're talking to a business partner, you would think I got to keep that person aligned with what we're doing. Because I know if we're aligned, because I know we're capable of working together and come to solutions that fix problems that help us get to our shared vision. The second the two of you are misaligned, if you don't get that alignment back. But what happens if one of the people are unwell? Maybe they can't be aligned right now because they're dealing with too much, or they're struggling somewhere else, and it is affecting things in this scenario. Like there's so much to life, and what can you control? Well, you can only control how you react to things. It's really hard, especially because I'm trying to be that anchor. I'm trying to be that solid, consistent rock for everybody. And right now, I need a rock. I need support. And I don't have it. I'm, yeah. I'm good though. I'm built for this shit. I love the people that are in my life. I love my partners. I love everybody that I work with, and I want to see everybody do well. Hell, even the assholes that kicked me out of the office and are costing us all this money for, like, that's fine. Like, we feel strong that we're going to be able to defend that. Yep, now I gotta go look and see how long propagation takes in Meraki. If I pull the trigger on something, because I don't believe, yeah, apparently when I reestablish connection to our data center from this TRO we have, and I'm telling you, like, a restraining order in business is different than it is in domestic relations. I'm learning a lot. I'm getting a lot of experience, and it's really teaching me what I need to do moving forward. If I have to rebuild from scratch, like, I truly feel like I'll be fine. I'm going to be okay. My only concern now is I have a son that's here with me full time, and I got to take good care of him and make sure he is comfortable and has a good structure. I'm telling you, Jonah Sunderman is going to be a beast when he gets older. I just I know that my childhood was rougher than his to some degree. Um, so I'm grateful for the contrast between his childhood and my childhood. And again, I'm not him. I don't know what struggles he has, but I love the dude to death, and seeing him become a young man, and getting ready to become a teenager, and seeing his interests get piqued, seeing how he's influenced, finding ways to motivate him into healthy, constructive patterns. That's all I can do as a parent. I'm not here to be your friend. I'm here to help you. I mean, I want to be a good friend. I want to be a good father. Anyway, life and business is hard. Having visions and trying to get those visions come to life is hard. To make the impact I want to make on people is hard. And part of that is they have to want it. What makes my vision and my framework so superior than somebody else's, especially if it's their own framework? You know, I'm not trying to dictate what people want and do. I want to find out what it is they want to do, and I want to help find ways to empower that in healthy ways that they want me to help them. If they don't want me to help them at all, well, I guess that does kind of hurt a little bit. Like, I feel like, I don't want anybody else helping me but X, Y, and Z. And I think if another person wants help from anyone, I'd be one of their X, Y's, or Z's. And I know I am. When I get out of my own head and I look at the situation, the people come to me constantly. I know I'm a good influence in their lives. I gotta quit pushing. I gotta quit. I want so much change. And I think the best way to do it is quit taking all this energy and using it on the current circle I have and expand my circle so that way I can start helping others. I think that will help alleviate some of the stressors I have on my small circle now, which is why I'm on here doing this right now. I'm on here basically what I believe to be as vulnerable, talking about my fuckery in life and how I'm approaching it. And there's got to be others out there that are struggling, whether it's finding a job, dealing with parenting, dealing with a relationship, dealing with a partnership or a business idea, whatever it is. If you have good intent, you have a good vision, and you have good ethic, I can help frame things up in ways. I have perspectives. The beautiful thing, anybody present that is listening can give you perspective other than your own. That's a powerful thing. So I would advise anybody to talk to everybody around you and find ways to spend time with them to be able to learn more about them. Like, I don't want to be the end all be all. I want to help people just know about themselves and how to go out and look for help. That's kind of what I want my videos to be about too. Anyway, I'm just waking up. I had my shower. I got a ton of work I got to get done. So we'll see what happens. We'll see. Right now, my stepdaughter wants her iPad charged, so I need to charge that. Boop. Get some lights on up in here. So, Zeus, my friend, how you doing? Good morning. Sorry I missed you this week. Like I said, we got a lot going on, and it sprung up on me quicker than I anticipated. And I got a lot of work to get done today. Another stressor right there, baby. We need to be getting the funds in. All right. Good morning. Come on. Need to take my medicine. I need to get up and around. I'm too tired for all this shit. Mm. Yeah, it is late there. Jesus. I didn't realize we're that far apart. The Philippines is that far apart. That is wild. My mom was stationed in the Philippines before I came into the world. Oh, fuck. I need to wake up. All right, what are we working on first? Family court case. Let's work on that first. We need to get a hold of Mr. Come on. Oh, I gotta get familiar with this fucking case folder, and we're talking 5 years of fucking data dumping. So I gotta go through this thing, and Jesus Christ. All right. All right. All right. Hey, boss. I what? You okay, baby? What's wrong, baby? You okay? What was that about? Are you okay? Don't be getting all sickly and dying on me, baby. Okay? Please don't. You're my baby. Yeah, you're my baby. Yes, you are. Of course you are, baby. Oh, of course you are. Thank you, Zeus. Um, I could use all the luck I can get. This is very emotionally taxing, and I'm already, I'll cry during Shrek, all right? The traumas I've been through, the shit that I've been through in life, a lot of that stemming from my childhood and how sick my mother was. Which I still feel like I wish she would get some help. I would love for my kids to be able to have a relationship with their grandmother. And I think I'm at a point now where I'm strong enough to where I could probably establish a relationship with my mother. Um, I don't know if I need to. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if that's something that affects me in a negative way, I guess. I'm sure, like, I know she did her best, but I also know that I got to look out for my mental health, and I can't be around somebody that's so selfish. Like, I give myself out so much, and I expect reciprocity to some degree. I expect, at the bare minimum, a level of respect to be two ways, and for me to be, yeah, it's hard. Yeah.
China has long been preparing for less exposure to the U.S., diversifying always, not just in terms of trading partners, investment, but also currencies and payment system. And whichever president comes around, that plan hasn't changed. In fact, the first time around, the Trump tariff wars have set off this complete globalization frenzy among the Chinese companies. 80-something% of them have already implemented billion-dollar plans. So they're trying to create foreign markets that are not American and things like that. But still, there's a huge amount that they do sell to America, and the tariffs will hurt, right? The tariffs will hurt both countries, but you've seen already a gradual kind of redirection of trade to other countries. In fact, if you look at the EV solar panels, all this, what they call reproductive forces, very little bit is actually going to the U.S. But it's totally pushed them to embrace new opportunities and sign new trade deals and new trading partners. And in fact, after the first time around Trump global trade has actually expanded. China's position in the world as a share of global exports has actually risen compared to before, while U.S. is declining. So again, China's responsive while U.S. is kind of going back. They're going to open up as much as possible. So this is what clearly has repeatedly said, unilateral opening up, zero tariffs on the least developed countries. We should not underestimate the degree and the pace of fragmentation that is happening, multipolarity, and the rise of economic blocks. We're already seeing the data, whether it's investment or trade, the kind of the non-aligned blocks with the aligned blocks and their interaction with each other. If you go around the world, you ask them to like Brazil or ASEAN countries, what do they say? The same thing, diversify. Don't be at the mercy of the dollar or the U.S. financial system. What do you make of the efforts that
President Clinton has made, Xi Jinping has talked about, which is to get away from the hegemony of the dollar. That because the dollar is the international currency, with 90% of transactions are in dollars. It means the US can levy sanctions, it can cut people out of this, countries out of the system. And obviously, China, Russia, even some other countries don't like that and want to escape it. So far, mostly the talk. Is it more than that now?
I think it's much more than that. Whether it's quietly or not so quietly, building up this huge financial infrastructure that's enabled by technology, blockchain technologies, the channels of alternate payment systems, digital central bank currency, that's actually happening at a much faster pace than we realize in that part of the world. China signed 40 countries bilateral swap agreements to settle the local currency. Of course, these are marginal improvements, but you see the dollar slowly declining. And the fundamental question, even apart from financial sanctions, is that there's a dollar shortage. Emerging market size of GDP is growing massively. The demand for dollars is there. There's not enough liquidity. So now that interest rate is high, that the dollar is at a very high level, actually has a huge financial implication in developing countries for all of them to diversify.
So do you think the Trump administration will be surprised at how resilient China is as it tries to put pressure on?
I think first of all, the resilience of China has been demonstrated to a certain extent. Their economic challenges are primarily internal, and export have actually performed quite remarkably. The other countries, not so much, not so resilient. Opposed to a Trump presidency because they still see Trump as somebody who they can negotiate with, that there's room for negotiation, and that there is some space to take the temperature down and to manage and maintain relations. They've emphasized repeatedly mutual respect. That's not a high price to pay for the games.
Asian pleasure of you.
Great to be with you. Thank you.
Thanks to all of you for being part of my program this week. I will see you next week.
Touches of black. They say a lot without having to say much. They stay looking against prestige. Even will take them a long way. They don't have another purpose in life. They make you see everything. Get up my bankers and APR purposes. The US purposes like me. Passports and reasonable passports of ours.
Introducing 2 new Baja Chipotle subs featuring our world famous Baja Chipotle sauce. Listen, that's the Baja Chipotle talking. Not the kind of talk, but you know, find your fresh with the new Baja Chipotle collection and supper.
Wow, incredible. Amazing. My go-to is famous by iPod. Louis V. Not the greatest breakfast. And look at the difference. My eyes brighter and brighter for up to 8 hours. Unified, kind of amazing. Secret.
It's most like that. See, 10 things to do. That's why you make many flexible stuff. You even design a car stuff. Who's sir?
The Caroline has a lot. She takes road testing, so she can have those one-on-ones again. Hey, Jen. Would you just do a checkbook Friday? Sure. What's up? Get that powerful properly the road testing and find your voice. Very car shopping can't hurt you. Hey, I'll show you a better way. Show me how fast. Knowing how the car's accident history price means you won't have to overpay. No fear, just buy. They show me a Carfax.com.
Ever feel like a spectator in your own life with chronic migraine? 15 or more headache days alone. Insurance to 4 hours or more. Both prevent headaches and those with chronic migraine. In a survey, 91% of users wish they started sooner. So that way, talk to your doctor.
Toxifax may spread hours to weeks after injection, causing serious symptoms. Alert your doctor right away. Trouble swallowing, speeding, breathing, eye problems, or muscle weakness can be signs of a life-threatening condition. Those with these conditions before injection are at highest risk. Side effects may include allergic reactions like rash, breathing problems, dizziness, and injection site pain. Jefferson Botox, there's a skin infection. Tell your doctor your medical history, muscle or nerve conditions like ALS, myasthenia gravis, or Lambert-Eaton syndrome, and medicines like botulinum toxins, which may increase the risk of serious side effects.
Chronic migraine may still keep you from being there. your doctor about Botox today. Learn how AbbVie can help you save. Protect against RSV with Arexvy. Arexvy is the vaccine used to prevent disease from RSV in people 60 years and older. Arexvy does not protect everyone and is not for those with severe allergic reactions to its ingredients. Those with weakened immune systems may have a low response to the vaccine. The most common side effects are injection site pain, fatigue, muscle pain, headache, and joint pain. Arexvy is #1 in RSV vaccine shots. RSV? Make it Arexvy. Saturday, Monday, look out, see extreme more
Everyone gets to welcome off. So when you're courtside trying to hit the over, or up here trying to hit the under, or hit that way with your girl. Oh, yeah, keep it. Oh, yeah, hit it from the same game all day. BetMGM's got your back. Get your money off and play with the sportsbook board in Vegas. Only seats.
Get up to a $1,500 new customer offer and bonus bets when you sign up now. BetMGM. Download and bet today.
Versace arrows for men. Your business made limitless. That's Life Unlimited.
Trade war. Trump slaps sweep tariffs on American adversaries and friends.
The tariffs are gonna make us very rich.
Former Treasury Secretary Barry Summers, what it means for you. Plus, political blowback and another dizzying week. Trump unveiled a strict hiring freeze, an FBI purge, and a bot funding vault. My panel will break it down and what to expect next. Plus, the Democrats' decision, the new leader elected to lead the party through the new Trump era.
This is what we're going to do. We're taking that.
His game plan for contact on Trump. Inside politics, that's reporting from inside the court. Hour starts now.
Good morning. Welcome to Inside Politics Sunday. I'm on Rod. It's been a whirlwind second week for the 47th president. Some vision for his new term is becoming clearer. He's testing the limits of his power, pushing the boundaries of the Constitution, seeking dramatic overhaul of the federal government that he now controls. Now sparking the trade with America's largest trading partners, injecting fresh tension with the nation's neighbors, and then economies have become intertwined over the past several decades. Now, this comes on top of the new administration's push to dramatically overhaul the federal workforce, a purge guy and anyone who participated in investigations against him. A boss plan to halt all government grants. But the decision to slap Canada and Mexico with 25% tariffs on nearly all imports, and another 10% left on goods from China, fulfills the campaign vow made by Trump. But it would also break another central promise Trump made, that he would end inflation, lower prices at the grocery store. The White House justified Trump's move as necessary to force the Canadian and Mexican governments to do more to stop the flow of fentanyl into the United States and also prevent illegal migration. But Canada and Mexico are now voting in their own retaliation. Canada poised to impose a full 25% tariff on U.S. goods.
This is a choice that, yes, will harm Canadians, but beyond that, it will have real consequences for you, the American people. If President Trump wants to usher in a new golden age for the United States, the better path is to partner with Canada, not to punish us. I think Canadians are a little perplexed as to why our closest friends and neighbors are choosing to target us instead of so many other challenging parts of the world.
All right, we'll break this all down this morning. His name is Jeff Zeleny, Jasmine Wright from Notice, Jeff Mason from Reuters, Wall Street Journal's Olivia Beavers,
Morning to you all.
Right.
So this is all busy last night about how this all came out. There's been some criticism and some support across the profile. We're going to break that all down, but we're not where this goes from here. You know, Trump, they said in that White House statement that they could retaliate if Canada respond to Mexico or China respond in kind. Mexico says it will retaliate. China says it's going to take it to the WTO, the World Trade Organization. Canada said 25% tariffs on billions of dollars, tens of billions of dollars from the US. Jeff, what do you expect? Where does this go? How does this happen? Because the White House is saying we got to curb legal migration, stop the flow of fentanyl, but didn't really specify anything other than that which prevent this trade with us.
Yeah, and I think trade war is the right word, or the right phrase. It's full on. And if the White House didn't expect Canada and Mexico to retaliate, and they weren't thinking, I mean, I'm sure that they did, even though they weren't, there would be further action. So that's the right question. What else did they do? Did they raise the tariffs higher? Did they do more? I think one thing that I would point out is the possibility for challenges. The way that the White House did these tariffs is different from how they did them during Trump 1.0. They used an act called the Emergency Economic Powers Act, so that they wouldn't have to go through a long process of studying the process that would be required to set these tariffs. Usually that act impose sanctions. So that would be a way for companies, potentially others, to challenge these tariffs. That's really not the administration was going to happen.
And you were at the White House Friday when they were talking about this, when asked about this. They really specify what they would do if they did increase prices first. Just look at what the increase as a result of this trade war. Remember, this is really across the spectrum. This is just a month. We had sparks, gas, steel, lumber, Corona Extra, avocados, Nike, football, soccer ball, baseball. The reason why is that these three countries account for 42% of the nearly $3 trillion worth of goods U.S. imports worldwide of last year. Just a staggering amount of imports. How is the White House going to respond?
Well, that's
If the prices of goods to
That's a central question here. And I think the president had a very interesting sentence and a kind of a long Oval Office session Friday afternoon before we went to weekend. He said there could be some temporary short-term disruption, but people will understand them. We'll see. We'll see if people will understand it. If prices go up on those things that you mentioned and many more. The thing is, I mean, the supply chain is one thing that I hear from so many economists. What they are concerned about, because as you said, I mean, the economies are so connected, they're interconnected. It's not just a U.S. manufacturing, it's North American manufacturing. So
for decades, I mean,
basically, for sure, even much more so than the first Trump administration, but people believe in this as an economic tool. We can't see it all. Not surprisingly, yet so this is going to be, it's also somewhat controversial inside the administration. The Treasury Secretary, the new Treasury Secretary, Scott Bessent, was calling for much lower representative tariffs. But on inflation, when you ask White House advisors, they still say, well, Biden inflation is what to raise. So they're still going to try and point the finger to President Biden. But the days are quickly numbered when President Trump can blame everything on his predecessor. He will try, of course, but this is his government. He owns this economy.
Hey, I remember Trump saying on campaign, so he did inflation. He even said, yeah, right. He did that. He said he'd bring down prices on day one. And I don't think that most of us have seen prices go down. I mean, look, I think that these options advisors, they go back to the current one and they say, well, we keep a 10% tariffs across the board, affecting, some millions of dollars. That makes inflation. We are able to have tariffs and have low inflation. So that's kind of what they put back to. But this is just such a larger number of, not just a higher percentage, but a larger number of the amount of goods that it touches both in all three countries. And so I think that, their conclusions to me, I think, particularly after that federal funds freezing debacle, is that since been they project a little too far, there's too much confusion about what would actually frozen, what funds to get back. It's a Canadian energy that could have impact on the Midwest and consumers in the Midwest. But how they get the price of that change, how the administration deals with it, people from the complaint of it's a great point. And then how to play those respond as well. And so the administration and congressional Republicans, especially Trump is not going again, House Republicans have done it 2 years, and Democrats and the United States Senate, so it's really trying to hide this House Republicans. Very much in line with Donald Trump on this. We got a statement yesterday saying President Trump's position to be safe and successful again. He's called on them to stop the flow of illegal aliens and illicit drugs across the borders. He said 15 stuff and habits.
I think when Republicans go back home and they start hearing about how the cost of living is impacting them, it can be 2,000, 4,000 sort of average cost for an average family in the U.S. But I asked Speaker Johnson, we were in the Florida GOP retreat just a few days ago, and I said, there are all these threats about tariffs and trade wars. What is the message if the cost of living goes up? Because that is what Republicans ran on. They tried an economy, we're going to take it down. So if Republicans are vowing to be aggressive on offense, trying to go into the midterms in 2 years, it puts them in maybe a difficult position.
I've noticed that John Bill, who said the word at the moment, has not responded. Not said anything about this. I don't know if they're right because it can impact their own constituents back home in ways that some may not want to hear about.
Without a doubt, especially in farm states, especially in red states, we all remember the impact of the trade agreements and the tariffs from the first time around. And at the end of the day, a lot of economic assistance was given to farmers because of this. So, I mean, never mind all that. There's no doubt in the short term, Senator Green will support this all Republican package. That's true. The bigger question is going forward. How does this impact the president's legislative? Get what all those programs do? How does it affect all those narrow majority? In general, the first couple of weeks that we've making some Republicans exhausted.
This past one, he's confident with the FBI workers, the Trump-led investigation, and then as far as one time going after these adversity initiatives throughout the White House. He's very clear. Go back to the U.S. reshape how the federal government works and push limits of its power, doing it all throughout.
Grasp. I was speaking to a Democrat last night and said we couldn't think of a more powerful president in terms of somebody who's taking every single level he can and testing it, which is the right way to say that, because clearly some of this is going to be challenging, of course, but everything from aid to the DEI and using that sort of world view to apply to everything from his own government now to labor. So it's extraordinary. And it's the response so far, why did some Republicans certainly outrage Democrats, but that was going to pick up on polling. Reuters had a poll this week that said that his approval ratings have ticked down a little bit in the first 2 weeks of his administration. That's something that we'll be watching closely too, because a lot of these things, though they are things that he said he would do, are
Something we'll actually, when we come back, look at the inflation crisis. So what do you think about Trump's new tariffs? Former Treasury Secretary Larry Summers joined me live in London to break down for you.
Making it a legend, Sunday at 9 on CNN.
Ever feel like a spectator in your own life with chronic migraine? 15 or more headache days a month, each lasting 4 hours or more. Both prevent any symptoms of chronic migraine. In a survey, 91% of users wish they'd started sooner.
Toxapex may spread hours to weeks after injection, causing serious symptoms. Alert your doctor right away. Trouble swallowing, speaking, breathing, eye problems, or muscle weakness can be signs of a life-threatening condition. Those with these conditions before injection are at highest risk. Side effects may include allergic reactions like rash, breathing problems, dizziness, neck and injection site pain, and headache. Don't receive Botox if there's skin infection. Tell your doctor your medical history, muscle or nerve conditions like ALS, myasthenia gravis, or Lambert-Eaton syndrome, and medicines like botulinum toxins, which may increase the risk of serious side effects.
Chronic migraine may still keep you from being there. Ask your doctor about Botox today. Learn how Abbott can help you save. Fisher Investments, we may look like other money managers, but we're different. You can't be that different. We are. We have a team of specialists, not only in investing, but also in financial and estate planning and more. Yes, and as a fiduciary, we always put their interests first. But you still sell commission-based products, right? No. We have a simple management fee structured so we do better when our clients do better. Huh. We're more different than I thought. At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Years of hard work. Decades of dedication. Committed to giving back. You've been there, done that, and you're still here for more. So now that you're 50 or older and at increased risk for pneumococcal pneumonia and IPD, be proactive with Capvaxive, a vaccine specifically designed for adults to help protect against pneumonia, an invasive disease caused by certain types of pneumococcal bacteria. Capvaxive is the only vaccine that helps protect against the strains that cause 84% of IPD in adults 50 or older, compared with up to 52% by other pneumococcal conjugate vaccines. Don't get Capvaxive if you're allergic to the vaccine or its ingredients. Tell your doctor if you have a weakened immune system. Common side effects include injection site reactions, feeling tired, headache, muscle aches, and fever. Whether you've had another pneumococcal vaccine or not, ask your doctor or pharmacist about Capvaxive.
Zyrtec Allergy Relief works fast. It lasts a full 24 hours, so Dave can be the
Deliverer of dance.
okay, Dave. Let's be more with our allergies. Seize the day with Zyrtec.
Watch your step. That's why VisionWorks makes it simple to schedule an eye exam now. Even right now. Convenient VisionWorks. See the difference.
Okay, everyone. Our mission is to provide complete balanced nutrition for strength and energy.
Sure, with 27 vitamins and minerals, nutrients for immune health, and it's sure complete with 30 grams of protein.
With moderate severe plaque psoriasis, my skin was no longer.
Psoriatic arthritis symptoms held me back. All good symptoms to fight. Emerge as you with clearer skin. With Tremfya, most people have 100% clear skin that stayed clear even at 5 years. Significantly reduce joint pain, stiffness, and swelling.
Serious allergic reactions and increased risk of infections may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and TB. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or if you need a vaccine.
Emerge as you with clear skin. Ask your doctor about
Closed captioning brought to you by Mesobook.com. If you or a loved one have mesothelioma, we'll send you a free book to answer questions you may have. Call now, and we'll call you 800-821-4000.
Just out there, trade war with Mexico, China, and Canada actually get. And also, will you feel the pain of it? Or might it not be as painful as some forecasters see the thing? We're just to break it down. Products from the United States and these three countries will now face new taxes. American companies buying those products will have to pay the cost of the tariffs to the U.S. government. But where will the money come from? The company can eat the cost of the tariffs itself or pass along some, if not all of it, to the consumer. Joining me now to talk about how to impact this decision may unfold. Treasury Secretary Bill Clinton, topic advisor to Barack Obama. Secretary Summers, thank you so much for joining me this morning. Really appreciate your time. As you know, Canada and Mexico now plan to retaliate in kind with tariffs. So a lot of people are wondering how it may impact that. How quickly do you think America will see impact on prices and on what goods?
what economists would call a self-inflicted supply shock. Means less supply, because we're taxing foreign suppliers, and that will mean higher prices and lower quantities. This is a self-inflicted wound to the American economy. I'd expect inflation over the next 3 or 4 months to be higher as a consequence, because the price level has to go up when you put a levy on goods that people are buying. And of course, everybody who competes with a Canadian or Mexican supplier is getting a good deal. And so they'll raise their margins as well. And everybody who uses an input from Canada or Mexico in their production is going to have a cost shock, and they're going to pass it on to consumers. When consumers are paying those higher prices for the imported goods, they're going to have less money to spend on other things. And that's going to tend to push the economy downwards as well. So the idea usually in policy is to make there be lower prices and higher quantity. That's what, for example, the Keystone Pipeline would have done for oil. I thought President Trump was right to criticize President Biden for not allowing that Keystone Pipeline. But this is exactly the opposite. Less coming in and higher prices. Inflation might go up over the next 9 months by as much as 1%. Just in a moment when we were trying to bring it down to target. So I can't see anything good as possible about it.
Secretary Summers, the White House said the president is taking this action to halt illegal immigration and stop the flow of drugs like fentanyl into the country. Now, he did threaten tariffs on Colombia after the country turned back some military planes carrying deported migrants. The country ultimately listened, they reached a deal. So I guess the question is, could these tariffs actually work and help him Trump achieve the policy objective that he's seeking?
The assertion you just made respectfully is just wrong. In the administration, there were hundreds of flights where Colombians were repatriated and Colombia accepted. The president engaged in a lot of theater with military planes, then had a big conflict, and then got us back to right where we were. No victory of any significant kind, no more people being repatriated, to Colombia.
But the question is, the policy objective can be achieved if the deal with immigration stop all of that.
It is Friday, March 12, 2021, approximately 2:59. I am here with Mina Sunderman. Mina, please state your name. And do you concur that it is Friday, March 12, 2021 at 2:59? Great. Let's put that on the record.
If they're subject to this kind of attack, playground or place strategy, and that's what this is. I'll say the winner here is Xi Jinping. We've given him an excuse for his own economic failures. We moved allies into his own. We weakened our own economy when we're calling him out for ignoring international norms. We're legitimating everything he's doing by violating all the international norms that he set up. So this is
Hello.
Hello.
Well, let me turn that volume down. Ooh. Okay. Let's see which camera. Let's see. I see you guys. Do you guys see me? I've never used Teams before.
Yeah, there should be like a little camera icon with a line through it.
Okay, oh, there it is.
And just so you don't, I don't know if you mind or not, I can stop it if you don't.
No, that's fine.
Well, the recording, I'm recording this just for
Oh,
our
that's fine.
review. It's okay.
That's fine. Actually, it's telling me I need to download something.
Well, I mean, it's up to you if you want to go ahead and go through with that. It's all, it's totally.
No, that's fine. I don't, you know, you don't need to see me necessarily unless you really want to.
No, and I do this for a living, so I mean,
Okay.
so I
All right.
appreciate you working with me and on this platform. So,
Absolutely, absolutely. Now that I know about it, I'll maybe explore with it a bit. Well, let's sort of start out by telling me, let's do sort of an overture of what's going on, like a 30,000-foot view, and then we'll drill down as needed.
so I have two children that I love. I was with both their mothers, and we had them not by accident. And they
What's their first name and their age?
Melissa is 30. I don't know the kids.
Yeah, the kids. I'm sorry.
Well, because I'm talking about having the kids. So, no, Jonah is my youngest. He is 8, and Olivia is my oldest. She is 12. So
Okay.
they both have birthdays next month.
Okay.
And they have different mothers.
I'm sorry.
They both have different moms.
Okay. All right.
And the reason why I bring them both up at the same time is because they're both working together in this thing at the 30,000-foot view. So
Okay.
we, at the time we had my oldest, which was my first, she, that was planned. And then the second one, same thing. We went to doctor, planned, and nasty breakups. And I guess I hated so much that they're just the only thing they have to use against me. And they're very spiteful. And I was in a very bad place when I was younger. And I got clean back in 2014.
Okay.
We're getting my stuff together. They apparently never got their stuff together. And now they think I owe them the world, I suppose. So
Yeah.
I'm
Okay.
to be there for my kids. And now that I have visitations and everything, and I'm asking for more time, I'm going to court and we're getting JLs involved. And it feels like it's backfiring on me because we're getting all these reports talking about how my history is so bad and how abusive I am. My kids fear being here, but I really feel like that's because of the brainwashing going on. I only get this much time.
Okay. Well, tell me, Melissa is the mother. We're basically two different mothers. Did I get that right?
Correct.
And they're working together. They've sort of teamed up.
Yeah.
Yes, we've learned that as of
But
recent.
in the beginning, though, his youngest son's mom, Elizabeth, she actually has testified on Joseph's behalf for a case with Melissa. It was just, so she used to be on Joseph's side, and then when they broke up, now the two of them have teamed up against him.
Okay. Okay, I see. Wow. You're in Ohio, is that right?
Correct.
Yes.
Okay. Well, so this is getting complicated. So Melissa's one is who's Jonah's mother?
Elizabeth.
Oh, I'm just making notes here.
You're learning.
And Melissa is Olivia's mother.
Yes.
Okay. So let's see. You were involved with Melissa before Elizabeth.
Yep.
We'll kind of walk through that. Just kind of walk me through the early part of your relationships, and I'm going to ask you some specific questions about them because that's definitely germane to what we're trying to figure out here today.
Okay. So I met Melissa online while they're 2 hours away. We had a long-term relationship, and then eventually
Long distance.
long distance relationship. Eventually, I left my hometown and moved down here to move in with her parents while I got on my feet to get a job and stuff. And then we got a condo together and was having Olivia. Then we had a bad breakup when she was about 6 months old, where I threatened her if she broke any more of my stuff, I would, mess her up. And then therefore I went to jail for 3 nights. I got it dropped with disorderly conduct.
Okay.
But that is on my record and something that they use against me.
Okay.
And it wasn't, I didn't do anything physical, it was because I threatened her.
Right. Yeah. Tell me about what's Melissa like? I mean, how's the early part of your relationship? And so part of what I need to do is get in each of their respective heads. And because there's certain patterns that we're going to see over and over again.
So Melissa was very happy when we got together. I didn't know the she had at the time. It wasn't until I moved down here and got my first fight that she was like, Mom, and then Mom got involved and I realized, oh shit, I'm in the twilight zone. I just went through, you know. So anyway, she was very upbeat, very social when we were together. Her mom said she's never seen her this happy before. And we, you know, her mom was super excited, very supportive of the relationship.
Okay.
Reached out to me and said, just move down here. You know, we know you're in your mid-20s, you don't need no 20s. So come down here. She's so happy. Now we get her own condo because I couldn't be there anymore because I was in prison basically.
Okay.
So we put her own condo, which they forced us to get this particular one that I couldn't even afford. So I was still under Mom's thumb. And then, you know, that night happened where I threatened in jail. Her mom bails me out, lets me stay with her.
Oh my gosh.
Melissa gets a new apartment. I'm looking for an apartment in the background, not even letting them know. So they think I'm gonna go back to the apartment I was at.
Well, you need to, you guys had 2 or 3 miscarriages?
We did have 2 miscarriages before Olivia was conceived.
And so they had 2 miscarriages and then they had Olivia. Well, during Melissa's pregnancy, I don't know, was it a hard pregnancy or she just let herself go because she let herself go?
She really did not take care. She didn't take care of herself. That's where.
So
that's
she
where her
gained a lot of weight
over 100 pounds.
and she has not lost it.
It's not. It's actually not.
And so she blames him for getting her pregnant and using her body. And
Postpartum really bad. One time I was on my way to work. She threw Olivia while she was in the crib. And in her bassinet, and I called into work that day and called Grandma and said, "Hey, I need you here now. Actually, you need to get Melissa and get her to the hospital. I cannot leave her alone with my dog, but I can't take work. And I don't know what to do." So I get here, they prescribed her some drugs, they should help, and then months later, it just kept escalating to the point where that cops were called multiple times. But that time, they were basically like, "Yeah, you disability corrector, so you're going to jail." And that's when I got out. I was in counseling during that time, and the counselor basically opened my eyes by saying, "Hey, are you holding on to this relationship because you had a broken family with foster care and all this other stuff, and now you're just trying to hold on to your family just because you didn't have that? That's best for your kid." And really, it sounds very toxic. And I'm like, you know what? Eye-opening. You're right. I'm out. So I just got out.
Okay.
Yeah, and she just, at first, she was working with me. I even picked her up and took her to get child support because she filed for it. I was upset about it. I was like, we've been working together. We get $400 a month. That's all you said you wanted. What's wrong with that? We go down there, they give me like $600 and something a month, plus I have to pay for healthcare, so that's $300 on my check every week. I mean, it was like $1,200 a month is what I wanted to do, is what it took out of me. And I was working $12 an hour job at the bank. I had all kinds of overtime. That's what screwed me. I told them that. Anyway, she started writing me checks at first back to help. But once she realized that we weren't getting back together, that cut off. Then she cut me off from being able to see Olivia at all, saying that I wasn't stable. And then I couldn't take me down here anymore, so I moved back to my hometown. And when I did that, she cut my communication off with me, see her, talk to her, and put her nothing for 2 years until I had enough money to file get visitation.
Okay. Wow. Okay, so when she figured out that you weren't coming back, that you were gone, that's when things really got more difficult as far as your daughter then?
So in the meantime,
Yeah, okay. But as far as seeing Olivia, tell me about that part, when she was real little and all this. How old was she? I mean, how old was Melissa?
She wasn't even 1 yet. We went to, we were amicable at first. I mean, I went to her 1-year-old birthday at her grandma's house and was able to bring my family down, and we all stood around and did the birthday party together.
Okay.
We stayed in touch for a long time. I mean, yeah, she was very little when we separated, and I want to say that I had her for 2 weekends on, 1 weekend off, 2 weekends on, 1 week before she took her away from me completely. In her 3 weekends out of the month, basically.
Yeah.
So when she took that away, I mean, she took it away. She took everything away. If you want to see her, you gotta go to my mom's house. So that was the only way I could see her, to go into her grandma's house and being supervised by grandma.
Okay.
So, and that all stemmed because I took her to a tattoo parlor that her friend worked at, that, you know, her and I had been to before. I just don't understand why she would even like be upset about me going there. It was a family friendly business. It wasn't like a nasty druggy place. I was cleaning.
Right.
So I mean, but anyway, it just, she used that. I feel like she used that as an excuse. I mean, just basically.
What year was that roughly that all this began to happen? When she realized you split and you're not coming back? What year was? Put that on a calendar for me, roughly. When?
2009. Early 2001. Yeah.
Okay. So then you were able to finally have a more normalized contact with Olivia. Is that?
Well, there, you know, after, no, I haven't had normalized contact with her ever since. No, that's the problem. I went years without seeing her. I finally get an order, but I live 2 hours away, and the order gave me 6 overnights a month, and it was all kinds of stuff. So I had to give 120 days notice. So like when they finalized the order, they said the time to start right away. But she tried to say no, it doesn't. You have to give 120 days notice. We had to go back to court. It took an extra 30 days for me to start my time because I had to go back to bypass. The judge did say start it right away. Here's the schedule, which I had already given to her. So yeah, there's so much to this. I don't know how I'm going to hold all this. Anyway, we that.
You hiding from used car shop? That's nothing to be afraid of. Show me car box. Knowing how a car's taxed is a reading tax price means you don't have to overpay. Wait. No fear, just spots. They show When Caroline has a car, she takes road testing, so she can have those one-on-ones again. Hey, Jim. Hey, Taco Friday? For sure. What's up? Get fast, powerful coffee with road testing and find your voice.
Ever feel like a spectator in your own life with chronic migraine? 15 or more headache days a month, each lasting 4 hours or more. Botox prevents headaches and leads to chronic migraine. In a survey, 91% of users wish they started sooner. So
Botox effects may spread hours to weeks after injection, causing serious symptoms. Alert your doctor right away. Trouble swallowing, speaking, breathing, eye problems, or muscle weakness can be signs of life-threatening condition. These conditions before injection are at highest risk. Side effects may include allergic reactions like rash, breathing problems, dizziness, neck and injection site pain, and headache. Don't receive Botox if there's a skin infection. Tell your doctor your medical history. Muscle or nerve conditions like ALS, myasthenia gravis, or Lambert-Eaton syndrome, and medicines like toxins, which may increase the risk of serious side effects.
chronic migraine is still keeping from being there. Ask your doctor about Botox today. Learn how AbbVie can help you save.
Touches of blood. They say a lot without having to say much. It's the overelegance, refinement, prestige. It will take you a long way. The darker the darkest night, they make you see everything. Taking 5% APR for up to 60 months, the purchase of select 25 storage, 25 storage alarms. Okay, everyone. Our mission is to provide complete balanced nutrition for strength and energy.
Sure, with 27 vitamins and minerals, nutrients from Immunol, and ensure complete with 30 grams of protein.
For generations, this ally to the north has been on your side. Ontario, Canada. Shared history, shared values, and a shared vision for what we can achieve together. Stable and secure, and the world around us isn't. You can rely on Ontario for energy and power in the growing economy. So you have
this meeting, it doesn't make a lot of noise.
Get good at it, so you can be a little fat and powerful.
Honestly, I was scared when I was told age-related macular degeneration could jeopardize my vision.
Great. One more thing to worry about.
It was all too hard to deal with in the beginning. But playing with my doctor to add preservation was easy.
Preservation A-Red 2 contains the exact any other recommended platelet-driven nutrient formula to help reduce the risk of moderate to advanced AMD progression.
Thanks to Preservision, I feel better that I'm doing something about it, like millions of others.
Preservation.
I've been talking about Mason from Tulsa Gabbard, Director of National Intelligence, about that Kerry Jr., the nation's health agencies are the most endangered of collapsing in the Senate. And that's because of state Democrat opposition and some skeptical Republicans who sit on the key committees considering nominations. Now, to get votes now, Senate to address the past controversy. In time to reverse themselves from the past statements or simply refusing to a statement. It wasn't just Gabbard or Jr., but also Gaspar nomination of the FBI practicing on much more about the Republicans early in line. But he also had
People in the media who lied about your you, whether it's criminal or civil. They said that you would be going after the media, that, so I want to know whether you plan to do that. Go after the free media. I can't go after the media for other people. What would you do, but I would say.
As far as
what would you do? What are you doing?
dropping
You're
the charges,
president of the world right now. What do you
dropping the charges, Edward Snowden broke the law. I do not agree with or support with all of the information and intelligence that he released, nor the way in which he did it.
You reassure voters unequivocally and without qualification that the measles and hepatitis B vaccines do not cause autism.
If the data is there, I will absolutely do that. My panel is back. Look, population conversion is really nothing new. It's happened time to time. But it's been something like something the same thing. It's confirmation hearings of women and all that. Very clear. A month before he was nominated, he thought it was a bad idea for him to make comment, then changed it to before the Senate during his testimony. How do we, but it's very clear, two people are in trouble right now. RFK Jr. and Tulsi Gabbard. Can they get the most?
I think both of those nominees are in the tough spot in terms of getting through. They did a tough spot, except he was able to get out. And we also have this sort of media and through and sort of bullying some of the senators who had questions and laws to get them through. So I thought it was really interesting how Tulsi and RFK was that they both refused to pull back the two people. Tulsi Gabbard was asked repeatedly whether she thought Edward Snowden was a traitor, and she was stand right to distance herself.
He said he broke the law. He didn't say what that.
And she did not look at it. He never asked. And when one of the senators walked out, Young expressed his concern, you had Senator Ginsburg express his concern, and so she knew the one he's in front of the committee. But then, on the other side, there are Jr., who really kind of would not say that he would accept the information about that vaccines autism. I mean, that's repeated. There's a ton of literature, peer-reviewed for decades, that show they do not. But he said, if you should be proof, I'd like to accept it, even though that proof is already out there.
And that, I think, really race. So it's not Bill Cassidy said after the hearing, and also to the call, sits on the key committee, intelligence committee, considering
My concern is that if there's any falsehood, any undermining vaccines, another person will die from a vaccine prevented disease. And that's why I've been struggling with your nomination.
You want to weigh in closely?
I need to read the jigs up. That's sort of, I want to make a careful decision.
Without a doubt.
Cassidy had fired.
Which likely means that, look, the president gets a lot of leeway on his nominations. So one thing that's very clear, Vice President Vance will be waiting for nominations, because he is likely needed to be the final vote here on both
please ask you, like, if it gets the picture, if it does. But I think the White House has to put a ton of public pressure on. I expect that to happen.
And speaking of public pressure, before you jump in, Clay Higgins, a congressman from Louisiana, put out a tweet about this, saying that he will be watching this, saying that you can see it on the screen there, saying that they're watching for the past.
Yeah, they're watching. I mean, a lot of they're on notice. I was talking to a White House advisor who was helping coordinate the pushback from MAGA allies, trying to kind of threaten these senators with primaries if they did not vote yes. And they told me that one of their concerns about policy, because it's one thing to be able to route people on the outside to protect them when they feel the attacks are personal, when they're about personal, when they're about past behavior, and they feel like aren't necessarily connected to the job. It's another when they have to try to rally people around the person, they don't understand what their job is. I think that concern is around policy specifically. She may not actually prepare for in these hearings to know what DNI and what you're supposed to do with DNI. I think that they're going to have they were from competitive and some of the other candidates.
I was just gonna say, I think it's interesting to see what the line is for Republicans. So far, they have fallen into line for nearly everything that President Trump wants. But it looks like some may draw a line on vaccines by the system. Some may draw a line on saying it's okay that Tulsi Gabbard might have this trip, and that with Bashar places some. There's not a very clear line, but there may be at least a sort of unclear one with people with regard to these two nominations.
And the question is going to be, this does not get through. What does Trump decide to push for? Or recess appointment? Where's John through that? You can do Robin forward with that. Block that would be a potential to talk something about, Trump has plenty about things, but yeah, there's nothing about it. Sorry, this is going to be a consequence. Coming up for us, midterm election are usually painful for the party in power. So what would the Republican leader try to keep the House under control? Tell me about next year. Reporting is next.
Superman. Christopher Williams story tonight at 8 on CNN.
Ever feel like a spectator in your own life with chronic migraine? 15 or more headache days a month, each lasting 4 hours or more. Botox prevents headache symptoms with chronic migraine. In a survey, 91% of users wish they'd started sooner. So why wait? Talk to your doctor.
Botox effects may spread hours to weeks after injection, causing serious symptoms. Alert your doctor right away as trouble swallowing, speaking, breathing, eye problems, or muscle weakness can be signs of a life-threatening condition. Those with these conditions before injection are at highest risk. Side effects may include allergic reactions like rash, breathing problems, dizziness, neck and injection site pain, and headache. Don't receive Botox if there's a skin infection. Tell your doctor your medical history, muscle or nerve conditions like ALS, myasthenia gravis or Lambert-Eaton syndrome, and medicines like botulinum toxins, which may increase the risk of serious side effects.
Chronic migraine may still keep you from being there. Your doctor about Botox today. Learn how AbbVie can help you save.
Total Beats, America's best-selling beets brand, is available at Walmart. Total Beats blood pressure support soft chews contain a key ingredient clinically shown to deliver 2 times better blood pressure support. Take control of your health. Head to Walmart and get Total Beats blood pressure support soft chews today.
What if all I do for my type 2 diabetes isn't enough? Or what if once weekly Manjaro can help? Manjaro helps your body regulate blood sugar and can help you eat less food. Plus, 3 out of 4 people reached an A1C of less than 7%. And people lost up to 25 pounds. Don't take Manjaro if you're allergic to it, or if you or someone in your family had medullary thyroid cancer or multiple endocrine neoplasia syndrome type 2. Stop and call your doctor right away if you have an allergic reaction, a lump or swelling in your neck, severe stomach pain, or vision changes. Serious side effects can include inflamed pancreas and gallbladder problems. Taking Manjaro with sulfonylurea or insulin may raise your low blood sugar risk. Tell your doctor if you're nursing, pregnant, planning to be, or taking birth control pills. Effects include nausea, diarrhea, and vomiting, which can cause dehydration and make worse than kidney problems. With Manjaro, Ask your doctor about once weekly Mounjaro.
I told you I don't need these anymore. Sling.
Okay, morning. I think I know that here's what I need to stand for. This one.
No, Sling is not the news you want in a quicker, reliable manner.
At a wonderful price.
This critical time calls for the critical news coverage that Sling provides.
Okay, see you tomorrow.
The most important news at the best price. Sling lets you do that.
There are some feelings you can get with any sports book. But the feeling that no matter what, you're taken care of. You only get that here at Sportsbook Born in Vegas.
BetMGM. Download and bet today.
$6 never tasted so good. IHOP's breakfast base combo is now just $6. Featuring IHOP's world famous buttermilk pancakes, crispy hickory smoked bacon, and 2 eggs cooked to order in your bag. All for just $6. Part of the new $6 house space menu.
Bamboo HR is your complete HR, payroll, and benefits platform where everything works together in one place. It's an HR experience unlike any other that provides easy-to-use software and top-notch customer service.
Our low price guarantee means you can be confident you're getting the best price possible. If you do find a lower price, we'll refund 100% of the difference. Sleep Outfitters, the way mattress shopping should be. Friday, Saturday, and Monday, presented by Samsung Galaxy on TNC, True TV, and Stream on Max.
Closed captioning brought to you by MesoBook.com. If you or a loved one have mesothelioma, we'll send you a free book to answer questions you may have. Call now, and we'll come to you. 800-821-4000.
Republicans could be in a world of hurt next November. That's if this means any die. They need an auditor so the party in power tends to lose an average of 26 House seats in the midterms. That's why House Republicans are really claiming this policy last week at Trump's Doral Golf Club to talk about their midterm strategy. It's pretty complicated. The Republicans barely have a majority right now. Only 218 seats to 215 for Democrats at the moment. And what happens in 2026 will all come down to a small number of swing districts. Democrats want to defend 13 seats in districts Trump carried in 2024. Meanwhile, Republicans want to defend 3 seats in districts that Kamala Harris. The decision among Republicans is also urgent because Republicans want to begin moving the Trump agenda through Congress as soon as this week. So I traveled down to Florida last week and I caught up with the man responsible for trying to help the party divide the odds. It's Congressman Richard Hudson. This message was echoed by many Republicans in Doral, asking the agenda for the House of Cards could collapse next year. You just presented this morning to the House GOP about how things work. Big part of the candidacy had no track process. What do you tell?
Well, I'm very optimistic about 2026. We're going to be on offense. If you look at the political map out there, it's very favorable for Republicans. You know, we've got 13 Democrat House members in seats carried by Donald Trump, only 3 Republicans in seats carried by Kamala Harris.
So I mean, you say you're going to feel pretty good, but you know, midterm, new president. Historically, the party power loses 26 seats on average. That's pretty daunting. How do you define this, right?
I think we're in a unique time in district where you had a president who served 4 years, another president was elected, served 4 years, and then the 2 ran against each other. And they had very different policies. So I think if we do what we said we're going to do, we deliver on that mandate that Donald Trump won on, then I think the voters will reward us. So I think it's different than a new president's first midterm.
We can't tend to do better if he's on the top of the ticket. He's not going to be on the top of the ticket. That's going to make it hard.
That's true. We've got to communicate with those voters. We've got to make that Trump coalition and Republican work.
The bigger question is there a risk of hard breaching?
Sure. There it is. But, you know, President Trump was very clear on what he was campaigning on and the policies that he wanted to put forth. So as long as he does what he says he's going to do, as long as we in Congress back him up, I think the voters are going to reward us for it.
If you don't,
we'll do it.
Can you talk to something about that? Matt, what does he say?
Well, he understands that holding the House majority is in his best interest. And like I say, he's been a great partner for us. We wouldn't have a majority for Donald Trump.
Hey, Democrats are banking that Trump and the GOP are already overreaching. In fact, the message from the House Democrats campaign leader, Suzanne Delbany.
Governance work. They want to see us finding solutions to problems they see across the country. And the Republicans have the White House, the Senate, and the House. So we're going to hold them accountable for their ability to fulfill that mission or not.
Midterm elections are only 649 days away. That's it for Inside Politics Sunday. You can follow me on X and KBOD. You can follow the show, Inside Politics. Follow me on Instagram at _Raj. If you're in this episode, you can catch up with the podcast. Just sort for Inside Politics. Up next year, meeting with Jake Chopper and Dan Bad. Jake Chopper for brand new transportation secretary, Sean Duffy, Democratic Senator. Thanks again for sharing your Sunday morning with us. See you next time.
The Making of a Legend, Saturday at 9 on CNN.
I'll be honest, by the end of the day, 5 floors, yeesh. But who has the time to clean? That's why I love my Swiffer WetJet. It's a quick and easy way to get my floors clean. WetJet absorbs the locks grime deep inside. Look at that. Swiffer WetJet.
Safe like repair. Safe like replace. Nobody likes a cracked windshield.
Well, it makes you go to SafeLight.com and schedule a fix in minutes.
Can confirm. Very easy.
SafeLight can come to you for free. And our highly trained techs can replace your windshield right at your home.
Safe like repair. Safe like replace.
Go to SafeLight.com and schedule a replacement today.
The darkness of bipolar depression made me feel like I was losing interest in the things I love. Then I found a chance to let in the light. Discover Capilita. Unlike some medicines that only treat bipolar 1, Capilita is proven to deliver significant symptom relief from both bipolar 1 and 2 depression. And in clinical trials, movement disorders and weight gain were not common.
Capilita can cause serious side effects. Call your doctor about sudden mood changes, behaviors, or suicidal thoughts right away. Antidepressants may increase these risks in young adults. Elderly dementia patients have increased risk of death or stroke. Capilita is not approved for dementia-related psychosis. Report fever, confusion, or stiff muscles which may be life-threatening, or uncontrolled muscle movements which may be permanent. Common side effects include sleepiness, dizziness, nausea, and dry mouth. These aren't all the side effects.
In the darkness of bipolar 1 and 2 depression, Capilita can help you let in the light. Ask your doctor about Capilita. Find savings and support at Capilita.com.
With moderate to severe plaque psoriasis, my skin was no longer mine.
My active psoriatic arthritis joint symptoms held me back. Don't let symptoms define you. Emerge as you with clearer skin. With Trembaya, most people saw 100% clear skin that stayed clear, even at 5 years. Trembaya is proven to significantly reduce joint pain, stiffness, and swelling.
Serious allergic reactions and increased risk of infections may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and TB. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or if you need a vaccine.
Emerge as you with clear skin. Ask your doctor about Trembaya. We handcraft every suit in Boston using the finest materials like indulgent memory foam and ultra-conforming inner springs for a beautiful mattress and indescribable comfort. Save up to $800 on select adjustable mattresses at stearnsandfoster.com.
We lose 1% of our collagen every year starting in our 20s, which means we must start making collagen from lower skin. Do it with Neutrogena Collagen A. And trust me, I'm a banker.
Shouldn't they trust me, the dermatologist?
It's not a competition.
Three-in-one extended relief formula for dry eyes.
4 nations facing on. This game is our game.
Always try scoop before you run. Listen, hot dog me.
It's time we listen to science. One A Day is formulated with key nutrients to support whole body health. One A Day, science that matters.
We can help you find top credit cards with criteria you actually care about.
Have you ever dreamt of getting 2 of your fave Wendy's items for $7? Like a spicy chicken sandwich, Dave's single, or 10-piece nugs? Well, today's the day your oddly specific dream comes true. Pretty good dream. 2 faves for just $7. Got it at Wendy's.
Now's the time for a great deal on a new one from the Kelly Blue Book Best Value brand. Online, serve from select dealers, or hurry into your local hunter dealer today.
Hi folks, I'm Pro Angler Mark Rose. For just about everything fishing, go to MidwayUSA.com.
Vision in the sky. Investigators come close to finding out what caused that deadly crash over the Potomac River. While President Trump vows big changes.
We didn't have all this.
How safe are the skies? We are going to get to the bottom of this. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy is next. And trade war. America's neighbors retaliate after Trump imposes steep tariffs on Mexico and Canada. He promised he'd do it. Is America ready for what's next?
There could be some temporary short-term disruption.
Virginia Senator Tim Kaine joins me ahead. Plus, week 2, as Trump and his allies test the limits of executive power, Democrats try to pick their battles and move forward.
This is going to be we're taking about that.
But do voters think they're not doing enough? Our panel of experts is here to discuss. Well, I picked out Washington, D.C., where the state of our union is thinking, you can't say he didn't warn you. Mexico and Canada are responding this weekend after President Trump carried out one of his key campaign promises, imposing aggressive tariffs on America's closest neighbors as well as on China. Those will go into effect on Tuesday, and Canada and Mexico have both announced last night they will retaliate with tariffs of their own, escalating the trade war and likely causing some quote short-term disruption here at home, Trump acknowledged. And how much you will have to pay for that disruption out of nonprofit remains to be seen. The tariffs were just one item on the president's to-do list this week, which included a purge of top FBI officials here in Washington, one that could expand to thousands of agents. The Trump team demanding the names of those who worked on the cases, not only for investigating Donald Trump for his role in January 6th, but also those individual law enforcement agents who look into those who stormed the Capitol on January 6th, including those who violently attacked police that day. Think about that, potentially firing FBI agents for investigating people who beat up cops. Then, of course, there is the Trump administration granting Elon Musk's team unprecedented access to the federal payment system, dispatching his new Secretary of State to Panama, whose canal Mr. Trump wants to take over, freezing U.S.-funded foreign aid and development, and much, much more. Separately from all that, here in Washington, D.C., Americans are still reeling from the deadliest American plane crash in decades. We continue to learn the names of victims, including the third Army pilot on the Black Hawk we identified, that's Captain Rebecca Lobach. New overnight, we learned that seconds before the crash at Reagan National Airport, the American Airlines Jets pilots tried to pull up the plane's nose. That suggests that the pilots might have just then seen the Black Hawk helicopter moments before the tragic impact. Joining me now is somebody who's having an incredibly busy and rough first few days in the job. New Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy, former congressman from Wisconsin. Secretary Duffy, thanks for joining us. So let's start with the news today. The FAA warning system that sends alerts to pilots about conditions that could affect the safety of their flights. That system's been down since late last night. You say a backup system is being used. A similar outage 2 years ago temporarily forced a nationwide ground stop, leading to thousands of canceled and delayed flights. What is the latest on this specific incident, and what impact does it have?
Yeah, so first, Jake, I want to send my condolences, my deepest condolences to the families who lost their loved ones with an air disaster this week. I also want to say thanks to the first responders who responded so quickly. They're patriots, they're heroes. I want to say thank you to them as well. But to the NOTAM system in question, it went down last night. A backup system was activated. As of right now, the lead system is online and working. This is the system where pilots download their information, their flight details before they fly. So if the NOTAM system doesn't work, planes don't fly, but there's minimal disruption. But again, as you mentioned, this has gone down a couple times in the last 2 years. There's a process in place right now to get this system fixed. We want to expedite that and get this new system in place
this is an old system that needs to be upgraded. Let's turn to the investigation of the crash at Wednesday night at Reagan National. Are you and the investigators any closer today to finding out what caused this disaster? Is it your understanding that the helicopter, the Black Hawk, was filing above the 200-foot limit? Was air traffic control not fully staffed? What can you tell us? So I'm going to leave the investigation and the details to come out for the NTSB, but I'll tell you this, the questions I have is, what was happening inside the tower? Were they understaffed? Was it a right decision to consolidate the positions of the air traffic controllers from 2 to 1? Those are questions that we need answers to. And the position of the Black Hawk, the elevation of the Black Hawk. Were the pilots of the Black Hawk wearing night vision goggles? Did it affect their peripheral vision or their perception? Also, if they did have night vision goggles on, why are they flying at 9 o'clock at night when DCA is so busy? They should be flying at 1 o'clock in the morning. That's information we don't have yet, but when we get those answers, we can make decisions to make sure flyers are safe in the future. Jake, I don't know if you know this, but 2 days ago, with the FAA, we shut down or limited the airspace around DCA for helicopter pilots to fly through that area until we get information out from the NTSB. We'll take a look and let those flights happen again. But again, if there's an emergency in the area, you can fly in space. But we're not going to have those choppers going through DCA in the near future.
Is there any news that you have about the tragic crash on Friday night in Northeast Philadelphia, where a medevac flight crashed and killed all 6 people on board, including a pediatric patient and also 1 person on the plane?
Yeah, air travel, we know that it's you have risk to the folks in the airplane, but as we saw in Philadelphia, what happens on the ground can be catastrophic. And so I don't think we're going to know more information until we get the black box out of Philadelphia. It was a pretty steep nosedive in the ground. It's going to take some time, but NTSB feels pretty good that they're going to be able to recover the black box and should be able to pull data off of it. So until that time, we won't know what went wrong on that flight. We know that it was about 3 miles out. It was supposed to bank to the right. It then did that slightly, came to the left, and then took a hard left into the ground.
You alluded to the air traffic control staffing questions from Wednesday night. Staffing shortages for air traffic control have been a major problem for years and years. New York Times reports that more than 90% of air traffic control facilities in the U.S. right now are operating below recommended staffing levels. What are you going to do to fix that? How long will it take? I think it takes about 2 years for somebody to go through air traffic control training.
Yeah, so we are understaffed. So if you look back to the Obama years, there were some DEI principles that were brought into air traffic control. They were new. We brought in more people into the academy, but less people passed through the academy and became trained. COVID was a huge impact, right? So the schools, the academies were shut down for a period of time. But once the schools opened up, they were running at half capacity. And when we had graduates, they couldn't get into the towers to train. And so we're right now working with the FAA. We're going to surge air traffic control. We're going to bring the best and the brightest. That was the direction from President Trump. Get them trained up, get them into towers, and get them certified. To your point, Jake, I can't flip a switch and make that happen overnight. But it's this process and this plan we're developing right now that's going to, a year, 2, 3 years from now, show real results of putting certified air traffic controllers, bright, smart, brilliant people in towers controlling airspace. But there's another problem, Jake. I think if you look at a discussion that's happened on the Hill for a long time, our air traffic control system is antiquated. All the systems we use date back to World War II. We have to upgrade the system. We have to have the best system in the world. The technology was developed here, but it's not being used here. So President Trump has said that to me numerous times. He's on board. I have to work with Democrats and Republicans on the Hill. We're going to need their insight, their resources, but we can truly impact the efficiency and safety of the airspace if we upgrade the system.
So you just alluded to DEI, the diversity, equity, and inclusion processes of trying to expand people in the workforce. Is there any specific evidence that backs up Donald Trump's claims, President Trump's claims, that DEI or FAA hiring practices are responsible in any way for this tragedy at Reagan National?
So, Jake, I think the better question is, am I going to guarantee the American people
that only the best and the brightest serve in this incredibly important body of the Department of Transportation, that they're driven by safety, and DEI doesn't matter. So I do know that in the last administration, they were focused on not safety, but they were focused on changing the name from cockpit to flight deck. Or notice to airmen, they wanted to change it to notice to air mission. They focused on EVs and sustainability and racist roads, things that don't matter in regard to safety. Our mission since the start has been safety, and they've lost that mission. And we've seen you don't focus on safety, you focus on social justice or the environment, bad things happen. So I have to, it's been busy. We're going to have a fuller assessment of what happens in regards to DEI and FAA and DOT. And we'll report that out. But I will tell you this, DOT is a big department. The only DEI office that exists in the whole department was at the FAA. Now that existed up to a week ago, that's not long.
So, again, you alluded to this earlier, that the idea of the DEI expanded the number of people trying to get into the aircraft control training, not necessarily those who graduated. The head of the National Aircraft Controllers Association says that all aircraft controllers are subject to rigorous training and that, quote, the standards to achieve certification have nothing to do with race or gender or anything else. So and it sounds like you're saying that there isn't any evidence right now that this affected the accident because it's so early. You'll let us know if there is any, but I just don't know of any evidence. And if there is some, please tell us that DEI had anything to do with the tragedy itself.
What I'm talking about is the mission of safety. And on your airplane, Jay, or your air traffic controllers, or anyone that works at CNN or anywhere else, they do want the best and the brightest. They will not sacrifice that. You can have DEI in water coolers and universities. I disagree with that, but lives aren't impacted with DEI at universities. It is impacted here. And so my commitment to American people is, I don't care your race, your religion, your color, your sex, your sexual preference. I don't care about any of that. I just want the best and the brightest, keeping Americans safe. And that should be the standard in this department. And that's kind of about it. That's what we're bringing. We're going back to our mission of safety. And so back to we're talking about the FAA and the staffing level. So under the Obama administration, they did change the recruitment standards and brought more people in, but less people were certified. That caused a shortage in the system. But also, they lowered, this is the Obama, the Biden administration, they lowered the entrance exam scores to get people into air traffic control. We only have so many slots in the academy. I want to get the best people into the academy that can pass the test, get into towers, and not wash out. So we have people in towers to keep people flying safe.
So staffing has been an issue in aircraft control stations since at least 2006. Because there was a wave of retirements under President Bush. The FAA has staffing has declined by 10% over the last decade, including in the first Trump administration. And there's lots of reasons why: sequestration deal with President Obama, Republicans, government shutdowns, pandemic, all of that. Hiring did increase under President Biden air traffic controllers. We just put up a chart there. And I guess one of the questions I have is, one of President Trump's first actions in office was implementing one hiring freeze off of a blanket by federal employees, which did impact FAA and NTSB. I'm not saying it had anything to do with this accident, but it did impact. It has impacted those agencies. It has. Well, I was going to say there is a report that that lifted the freeze and they lifted the buyout offers. Tell us more about that.
So, in regard to the employment freeze, we had almost 1,200 positions that were critical safety positions that were exempted. Those included air traffic controllers. Actually, this last week we had new air traffic controllers that were hired. We also had postings online to bring in new air traffic controllers. So air traffic controllers were exempted from the hiring freeze, as well as other safety positions like inspectors. In regard to offers for people to take early retirement, for our department, actually, the critical positions in regard to safety are not offered that early retirement. We're going to keep all the safety positions in place, no early retirement. We're all going to stay and work and make sure our skies are safe.
That's great news. And just lastly, for the American people out there who are rattled by these 2 accidents in 2 days, is it safe to fly?
Yeah, that's a great question. Of course, it's safe to fly. So if you look at the American airspace, we have safest airspace in the world.
And air travel is the safest form of travel that you can undertake in the country. Now, we've seen some cracks, and it rattles people when they see these disasters, but air travel is safe. And just a side note, if it wasn't safe, if something happened with air traffic controllers and staffing, the FAA may not tell you this, but they're going to shut down the airspace instead of letting people fly in an environment that isn't safe. So again, that is the mission, safety, making sure people get from point A to point B as intended safely is our mission, and that's going to be ramped up under this administration. And it's mission critical for the American people. If you see these families today, Jake, they're going to go to runway 33, and they're going to mourn the loss of their loved ones. It is tragic, and it makes us recommit that this doesn't happen again, that other families don't have to go through what these families are going through because we have air crashes, air disasters like the one in Philadelphia and the one here in DC.
Transportation Secretary Shonda, thank you so much for coming on the show today and answering our questions. We appreciate it, and the best of luck to you as you get to the bottom of this and try to prevent another happening. Our thoughts are with you.
Thank you.
Finger pointing inside the Democratic Party. Now it's the new chairman who says it's time to get aggressive. Are Democrats in Congress falling short? Well, ask the top Democratic senator next. Plus, filling up your car, buying groceries, you might notice prices tick up this week. Perhaps as the U.S. is kicking off a trade war. Where is this going to lead? Stay with us.
This part changed my life. Superman is now nominated for BAFTA for Best Documentary. Chris wanted to change the world.
People are literally walking because of him.
Superman, the Superman story tonight at 8 on CNN.
Search technology for leap works fast. It lasts a full 24 hours. So Dave can be the
deliverer of dance.
okay, Dave. Let's be more than our allergies. Seize the day with Zyrtec.
Well, now that's a smooth shave. You might think these guys had a big top velvet for a shave that's smooth. But they just use Harris. With 5 blades that stay sharp, shave after shave. A lubricating strip with aloe, a flex engine, and trimmer blade. It's hard to believe retail start at just $2. Half of what the other guys charge. Shaving with Harry's isn't pricey. It's just very, very, very smooth. Wake up to Harry's. Get your trial set for just $7 at harrys.com/smooth.
What drives your business? Numbers, data, sales? Sure, but it's your people who define your business. That's why Paychex just reinvented the way to find and keep the best people. Smart, streamlined HR technology assisted by AI and our team of HR experts. Everything you need to recruit, motivate, and support your employees. Because your people are your business. Start reinventing your business at paychex.com/TV.
In our place for $19, we fired our own housekeeper. Hobo tackled everything, from our kitchen to our bathroom, all our laundry. You just pick a date, pick a cleaner, and enjoy a spotless house for $19.
If you're 50 or over, you could be taking advantage of everything AARP has to offer right now. Join AARP for $15 for 1 year with automatic renewal, and your second membership is free. Get instant access to discounts on everyday purchases, eye care, and prescriptions, and programs, tools, and tips to help manage your money and maximize your health. Plus, AARP fights to protect your Social Security, Medicare, and more. Join and get an insulated truck organizer free, plus AARP the magazine. Call or go to joinaarp.org now.
The replacement program got started by a good friend of mine, Amy, that saw a flag at the office that needed to be replaced. Said, wouldn't this be great if this could be something that we did for anyone? Comcast has always been a community-driven company. This is one of those great examples of the way we're getting out there.
And I needed it because my fridge is super empty. It's so easy to just whip together a quick, healthy meal. Head to HungryRoots.com for healthy groceries and simple recipes. Plus, get free veggies for life.
Did you know some liquid laundry detergents are designed to leave chemical residue on your clothes? Try Earth Breeze laundry detergent sheets.
Unlike some liquid laundry detergents, Earth Breeze delivers a powerful clean with less chemical residue and no optical brighteners. Plus, each sheet is made of 100% concentrated cleaning ingredients to fight tough stains. For a powerful clean with less chemical residue, try Earth Breeze, available at Walmart. Brand power helping you buy better.
You go to Sandals to get really, really close to the Caribbean. Sandals Valentine's sale is now on. Save up to $1,000 and get a Saturday dinner or two.
Watching my mom struggle with current UTIs helps both them. And she found Euphora. Euphora offers UTI relief and science-backed supplements for proactive urinary health. Life's too short to be thrown away by UTIs. Join us at euphora.com.
Welcome back. The Mike Updates for you, Richard's February 15th on CNN. 5 good things. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
Closed captioning brought to you by mesobook.com. If you or a loved one have mesothelioma, we'll send you a free book to answer questions you may have. Call now and we'll come to you. 800-821-4000.
The last thing we want is for there to be something bad happening at the airport. People stick a mic in the face and say, hey, you knew all this and you were warned. You voted for it anyway? Stop. Stop, for God's sakes.
That's Virginia Democratic Senator Tim Kaine making a grim prediction that has now come true, that Reagan Airport's tarmac was way too crowded, and it was only a matter of time before there would be a deadly collision at the airport with Services Solutions Capital. Joining me now, that's Senator Tim Kaine. Senator, I heard from the Transportation Secretary, Sean Duffy, just a few minutes ago. Any reaction to anything he said?
Well, you know, like Sean, thoughts and just deep sadness for the families, incredible appreciation for all these first responders, state, local, federal, and many agencies working together. But this incident just raises tons of questions, and we have to get to the bottom of them. It was very apparent to me over the years, but particularly when we debated this bill in Congress last spring, that the last thing we should be doing is forcing more flights into what is the most congested and complicated airspace in the country. And I urged my colleagues to avoid it. I was not successful in convincing them. But we got to get to the bottom of this crash and then take necessary steps to keep people safe.
On Friday, President Trump talked about the investigation into the crash. Take a listen.
Mr. President, on the crash, do you have any concerns that your commentary about things you have described as common sense or your observations could in any way interfere with the thorough investigation of the crash?
No, I think they'll do an investigation. It'll probably come out the way I said. If I was right about it, but they'll still do an investigation just to check it out.
Are you confident that the NTSB and the FAA will get to the bottom of what caused this crash, free from any political influence?
Jake, I am, but I got to say, the president weighing in while bodies were still being recovered, blaming this on DEI, and when pressed, he has no evidence to suggest it, was absolutely stomach-turning. And I'll tell you, I had a suspicion about why he did that. Why race bait at a moment like this? I think the president didn't want to be asked tough questions, like, why did you let Elon Musk force the FAA administrator to resign? When this crash happened, there was no FAA administrator because he had clashed with Elon Musk. Why did you scrap an aviation safety advisory committee within DHS on the second day of your presidency, saying that it wasn't related to national security? Oh, air safety is not related to national security? Why did you issue a buyout offer to include air traffic controllers when we're already short of air traffic controllers? I think the president was nervous that he was going to be asked questions about his own administration's policies that were de-emphasizing air safety, and so he decided to have everybody chase down a rabbit hole of his DEI allegations with no evidence. But I do believe the NTSB will get to the bottom of it. I have a feeling I know some of the things they will find. I'm confident that they'll give us answers, and then the Congress and the administration together have to provide solutions following their recommendations.
Let's talk about Trump's new tariffs on Mexico, Canada, and China. Mr. Trump was very clear during the campaign he was going to do this. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt says, quote, promises made, promises kept, unquote.
Isn't she right? Isn't this what the American people voted for, this trade war?
Sadly, Jake, I think the American people did, Virginians did. Virginians overwhelmingly rejected the Trump candidacy for the third time in a row. And I think one of the reasons they did is they saw the effect of tariffs during the Trump first term. When President Trump put tariffs on Canada and the EU and Mexico, what happened? There was a tax on Virginia consumers. Prices went up. And then when those nations retaliated, they retaliated against critical Virginia industry sectors, especially agriculture and forestry. I remember going out during the Trump first term to talk to my farmers and foresters, who by and large were Trump supporters, and they were saying, for God's sake, Senator, help us. This is hurting our businesses. So look, here's what Americans are going to see. Higher prices for energy, higher prices for groceries. That's what they're going to see. Businesses are going to get hurt when the retaliatory tariffs kick in. And I'm struck by the irony of last week, the president signed an emergency order regarding energy. There's an energy emergency. And he just put a 10% tariff on energy from Canada. He is increasing prices at the pump, and you'll start to see it within the next couple of days. At the same time, he's saying there's an energy emergency. The emergency is self-created.
You alluded to Elon Musk having a conflict with the former head of the FAA, and that former head of the FAA getting in his resignation around the inaugural. I believe that they clashed not on anything having to do with DOGE, the Department of Government Efficiency that Musk's in charge of, but rather having to do with SpaceX, his private company, and disagreeing with the FAA. We learned this weekend that Elon Musk's team at DOGE have gained access to the federal payment system at the U.S. Treasury Department, and there are more reports of sweeping powers being taken by that team. Do you know the full extent of Elon Musk's role in the government? Do you think there should be more transparency as to what exactly they're doing?
Jake, there needs to be more transparency. And no, I don't know the full extent because the administration isn't telling us virtually anything. So, for example, when they did the pause on grant funding, federal spending earlier in the week, they didn't give Democratic senators a heads up about it. I guess they probably didn't give Republican senators either. So we learned about it when we started to get calls in our office from veterans who could not access the portal at the VA to set up medical appointments, to Head Start agencies who weren't sure they could pay their teachers come Friday, to universities whose research projects were being threatened, to organizations that were working on refugee resettlement that suddenly couldn't get the phone answered when they called federal agencies. We've been having to assemble this like a jigsaw puzzle to see the extent of what the Musk activities have been. And we need to push back, and we need to get information. So I'm encouraging any Virginian who's been affected by these things to let us know, because the administration isn't telling us, and they're not telling the American public, but we're learning about it from our citizens.
The Democratic National Committee picked a new head over the weekend on the matter of the Democratic Party. We saw some stark numbers this week about how the American people view the Democratic Party. You see there, and this is a Quinnipiac poll, 57% of the American people have an unfavorable view of the Democratic Party, only 31% favorable. This is the worst number for the Democratic Party since Quinnipiac University began asking the question. And it's not an outlier. A recent CNN poll found a 33-year low favorable rating with the Democratic Party. Why is your party so staggeringly unpopular with the public?
Jake, you know me, I'm a Virginian. I know one state well, and not so well the other 49. In Virginia, we've gone from one of the most ruby red states in the country to now having put electoral votes behind Democrats 5 elections in a row. I just won my re-election by a sizable margin against Donald Trump's hand-picked Republican opponent. And I'll tell you how we've done it. We focus on the economy. This is what we do in Virginia, and I think sometimes national Democrats don't. We focus on competent government and running the economy in a great way that focuses on innovation and advancing. We have what we call the Make, Build, Grow agenda. While the Republicans are talking about cutting taxes and cutting regulation, and most people understand that tax cutting is just for the wealthiest, on the Democratic side in Virginia, and I think we can do this nationally, We talk about make, build, grow. We want to make it here, we want to build it here, and in ag and forestry, we want to grow it here. And the Dems have the results to back it up. It's just that so often Democratic candidates don't emphasize that. And so, yeah, the American public looks at standard campaigns. They don't see Democrats advertising on the economy, which is their principal concern. And so they have wonders about it. Let's return to the bread and butter basics that people want to really focus on. And I think the Democrats can do well, especially when Donald Trump's tariffs are driving up their prices every day.
Well, I don't want to get too into the weeds of Virginia politics, but your governor is a Republican, and he beat handily a former Democratic governor when he ran for governor.
By 1.8%, the last two Republicans that won the governorship in Virginia won by comfortable double digits. Our governor is Republican. He ran during a very good year to be a Republican. He won barely. We have a governor's race this year in Virginia. We feel really, really good about our chances. We just took both houses of the state legislature. We got a great candidate for governor. I think the governor's race in Virginia, November 2025, will be the first bellwether test of the Democratic comeback, and I'm feeling really, really good about that way.
All right, Governor Tim Kaine of the great Commonwealth of Virginia, thanks for joining us, sir. Appreciate it. A dizzying second week in Trump. I know what you might have missed when my panel joins you next.
Nice going, Lou. Nothing like a little confidence boost to help ease you back into the dating scene. Of course, that also includes having a smile you feel good about. And fortunately, Aspen Dental specializes in dentures and implants made just for you, with affordable options and flexible ways to pay. And now, there's $0 down plus 0 interest if paid in full in 18 months. Helping our patients put their best smile forward. It's one more way. Aspen Dental is in your corner.
Were your supplements developed by amateurs or pros? Doctors prefer supplements are doctor-developed using clinically validated ingredients and triple-tested for purity and potency.
Look for clinical grade berberine and other doctors' preferred products in stores near you. Dexcom G7 sends your glucose numbers to your phone and watch, so you can always see where you're heading without finger sticks. Dexcom G7 is the most accurate CGM, so you can manage your diabetes with confidence.
If you're only maxing out the 401k, you could have a Robinhood IRA with a 3% contribution boost. Robinhood Gold gives you a 3% match on your annual IRA contributions.
No, that is the HOA bylaws.
We're showing the consumer selling against great coverage.
You're making everything forward.
No, right? We use the same colors as Big Wanda, so you get the same color. Difference is our plan started with just $20.
Oh, true.
But it didn't.
Oh, I hope you're using primer.
Can we use primer? For unlimited talk and text with reliable coverage, you second month free. Call Consumer Selling.
Teach you about brush. Oral-B Electric. Better with one simple touch. Oral-B's dentist inspired from brush it, hugs them, cleans them, and gets in between them for 100% clean and teeth. Your perfect clean starts with Oral-B. Want the fastest working GLP-1 for half the price? Right now offers weight loss injections cheaper. With results you can see faster. Lose 50% of your weight with a formula from Eli Lilly. See if you qualify at pro.com/TV.
Guys made a left into the room.
Yeah, you got that thing.
Oh, what's it? You dog food in the fridge? It's not dog food, it's fresh meat. Real meat, real veggies, my boy Jim. No disrespect, but what are we doing here? Anybody else? We might very much say that.
It's not dog. It's food.
Precise designs, subtle prints, curated upgrades, elevated design for thoughtful living. Thuma. Your business made limitless. That's Life Unlimited.
If you bet on a player to score the first touchdown and instead he scores the second, you get your money back in cash.
$6 never tasted so good. IHOP's breakfast bagel combo is now just $6. Featuring IHOP's world famous buttermilk pancakes, crispy hickory smoked bacon, and 2 eggs cooked to order, your way. All for just $6. Part of the new $6 house phase menu.
We can help you find top credit cards with criteria you actually care about. A beautiful home is something we create, and we can start right now at Floor and Decor. Sometimes it takes a different approach to see the possibilities all around you. At Capella University, you'll learn the advanced skills you need to face the nursing challenges of today and tomorrow.
Government is doing very well, and we've got to admit that. DEI has would have ruined our country, and now it's dead. The helicopter issue goes out of its own. Shouldn't get out of its own. Tariffs don't cause inflation, they cause success, and there could be some temporary short-term disruption, and people will understand that.
So much to cover, so little time. Let's start with the tariffs. My panel's with me, Congresswoman Ansari. It looks like the United States is entering a trade war. This is what Donald Trump campaigned on. The American people can't say they didn't know it was coming. How are they affecting you and your constituents?
The tariffs are outrageous. I represent Phoenix, Arizona, and we have seen leaders in the state, from the governor to conservative heads of chambers in Arizona, sound more about how devastating this is going to be. Arizona in particular, we have a long-standing trade relationship with Mexico, with Canada, with Mexico in particular. About $20 billion in trade annually that benefits our manufacturing, our agricultural sectors. So we are very concerned this is not only going to hurt everyday Arizonans at the gas pump, at the grocery store, et cetera, but it's going to hurt our economy that is thriving. And this is just such a misguided and illogical policy that Trump is trying to force out on our throat.
We have another border state member here. Washington State obviously shares border with Canada. President Trump says the tariffs on Canada are to protest illegal immigration and fentanyl coming across the border. It is true that illegal crossings from Canada made up only 1.5% of all the apprehensions nationwide, and it was 43 pounds of fentanyl seized from Canada versus 21,000 from Mexico. So, what's your take on that?
I think, listen, a tariff can be a great tool, but they can also be a blunt instrument. During the first term, when Washington was the most traded state in the nation, so we're watching this very carefully. When he put tariffs on the first time, again, it was a bit of a blunt instrument. He had to go back and make corrections on steel and such because we needed those products. In this instance, I actually am looking at the tariff opportunity as an opportunity if it moves. There is federal forest land all over our nation that is prepared for it, right? If he puts, for example, on Canada's lumber coming in, we import a lot of our lumber in the United States, not because we need to, but because of the policy around our forests. If he moves and allows us to harvest collectively and sustainably some of that timber, we won't see a spike in prices for lumber, which is going to impact housing and building, right? So it can work, right? We can right-size our economic benefit here, but if you just maybe you should split the exits, right? No, what the game is, and that is my concern here. He doesn't know the game.
First of all, I would feel a lot better if you two were in the Oval Office making decisions together. I think that our country would be a much more solid footing. But the fact is, that's not who the president of the United States is. He is a border China shop. He is a blunt force object. Elections have consequences, and this is what the American people asked for, so this is what we're going to get. I'm looking at three specific industries. Home building, right? There was a clear contrast in policy between Kamala Harris and Donald Trump. We know that the cost of home building is going to go up. That's going to affect realtors, construction workers, etc. The second thing is tequila. Why? I'm fan. But we're also going to see the price of tequila rise. That means it's going to affect small businesses, not only in nightclubs, bars, industries, but also those liquor stores, etc. And so the last thing, and this is the most important in a state like Michigan, is people don't understand that Mexico, United States, and Canada are all in this together when we're talking about American-made cars. There is no such thing as a wholly American-made vehicle, contrary to what the American public think. Those car prices are going to go up. So the big three, they have a lot of trouble on their hands, and Donald Trump is sitting at 1,600. But again, you asked the best question ever. Do the American people realize this? Yes, this is what they vote.
Donald Trump, there are a lot of things he's changed his mind on over his career. One thing he's never changed his mind over is tariffs. You can go back and look and see it in archives from the 90s. And Donald Trump's talking about tariffs in the way he talks about them now. We've had tariffs as long as we've had a country. They've always been towards exact foreign policy goals.
right now to solve our immigration problem, we have to put pressure on Mexico. We have to get Mexico's attention. They have to help us deal with the flow of people coming from Central America. We can't do it without them. The tariff is a great tool to do that if you implement it carefully. I also think maybe this tariff on cannabis is a shiny object. The real object here is the China tariff. You impose a 10% tariff on China. That is part of a long-term disentanglement strategy that even some Democrats are for. So I think that maybe we're talking a little bit about the wrong thing. The China tariffs we're going for. You were shaking your head.
It's a policy that's going to harm Americans, everyday Americans. The president promised that he would lower prices for everyday people in this country. If you're going to implement a policy that is effectively a tax on the American people, you have to think about that holistically and what that's going to do. I'm deeply concerned about my constituents who already cannot afford to live, can't afford housing. I talked to the construction industry in Arizona. We have a huge housing shortage right now. We cannot afford additional costs for labor and building, and it's just
The difference between this credibility on that idea, because Democrats, every Democrat in the House was ready to let taxes go up on every taxpayer in America this year through the expiration of the Trump tax cuts. So Democrats have it both ways. Tariffs are everybody's taxes go up. Every single person's tax.
Stick around, we got a lot more to talk about. The panel continues. Fight for the new leader of the Democratic Committee, White says he's going to take the lower precedents.
Superman, the most growing story tonight at 8 on CNN.
Perfecting your swing is hard.
Nice shot, man.
Replacing your windshield doesn't have to be. Go to SafeLine.com and we can come to you.
Sick.
The trend text can replace your windshield where you are, even if that's right in your driveway.
Have a good day. Love you.
SafeLine makes it easy. Go to SafeLine.com and schedule a replacement today.
Ever feel like a spectator in your own life with chronic migraine, 15 or more headache days a month, each lasting 4 hours or more? Botox prevents headache symptoms with chronic migraine. In a survey, 91% of users wish they'd started sooner. So why wait? Talk to your doctor.
Botox effects may spread hours to weeks after injection, causing serious symptoms. Alert your doctor right away. Trouble swallowing, speaking, breathing, eye problems, or muscle weakness can be signs of a life-threatening condition. Those with these conditions before injection are at highest risk. Side effects may include allergic reactions like rash, breathing problems, dizziness, neck and injection site pain, and headache. Don't receive Botox if there's a skin infection. Tell your doctor your medical history, muscle or nerve conditions like ALS, myasthenia gravis or Lambert-Eaton syndrome, and medicines like botulinum toxins, which may increase the risk of serious side effects.
Chronic migraine may still keep you from being there. Your doctor about Botox today. Learn how AbbVie can help you save.
I guess I'm not the easiest person to please. I like things just right. That's why I love Redfin's home recommendations. They know what I want even before I do. A home that's just right.
Yeah, this is my coffee shop. We just moved into a bigger space, brought on another employee, and ordered new branded gear for the team. It was so easy. I just chose my products, added our logo, and placed my order. Bring your own team together with custom gear. Get started today at customink.com.
I still love to surf, snowboard, and of course skate. So I take Cuno Magnesium to support my muscular blood health. Cuno's high absorption magnesium glycinate helps me get the full benefits of magnesium. Cuno, the brand I trust.
I'm Jay Jackson. For almost 20 years, Abacus Life has been purchasing life insurance policies for seniors. And in just seconds, you can use the free calculator at abacuspays.com to learn what your policy might be worth.
For many of my clients, selling their life insurance to Abacus was right for them and their estate plan.
Don't sell or lapse your policy without going to abacuspays.com first. There are no fees and no obligations. Get the real value from your life insurance when you need it with Abacus. Sports on Max.
Bamboo HR is your complete HR, payroll, and benefits platform where everything works together in one place. It's an HR experience unlike any other that combines easy-to-use software and top-notch customer service.
Always try scoop before you run. Listen, hot dog got me.
It's time we listen to science. One A Day is formulated with key nutrients to support whole body health. One A Day, science that matters.
I am Rita Lopez, and this is Breakfast on the Go. The secret to a great burrito is to make sure that every single bite tastes good. Then you go bottom up. You can eat it right away, or you can wrap it and save it for later. Oh, well. Price guarantee means you can be confident you're getting the best price possible. If you do find a lower price, we'll refund 100% of the difference. Sleep Outfitters, the way mattress shopping should be.
Donald Trump, with his cruel policy, has aroused the American people. We are going to fight it legislatively. We are going to fight it in the courts. We're going to fight it in the streets. This is a new Democratic Party. You're changing the website.
So that last gentleman sitting in front of the Yes We Can signs is the new chairman of the Democratic Pension Committee, Ken Martin, who was elected over the week, and my panel's back with me. Would like to see from Democratic leaders here in terms of taking the fight to Trump. Schumer says Donald Trump's cruel policy has aroused the American people. Jeffries says by fighting in the streets, and then you heard the very intimidating statement from Ken Martin.
Well, I agree. I do think we need to be fighting as far as possible with every tool that we have. Just last week, when President Trump issued an unconstitutional federal funding freeze under the leadership of King Jeffries, Democrats across the country mobilized immediately. Every member in district went out and met with constituents, highlighted the programs that would be affected. I got to go see home delivered milk programs that would be drastically cut without the federal funding, harming vulnerable senior citizens in Arizona. So we saw that across the country, but I think we need to do more. I think we need to be fighting and showing the American people that we are there for them and pushing back against an unelected billionaire like Elon Musk, who is taking so much power and just seizing control of the government. I mean, I gotta say, he's like the guy who didn't get it done for the party in November, this 6-year-old, white dude from Minnesota, nothing against Minnesota. So now we got like a 51-year-old white dude from Minnesota. Okay, I think Democrats need to dig a little bit deeper. It's not about fighting Trump anymore. It is about putting aside your activist base and figuring out why in the world the American people elected him. Like, what are they upset about? We have to find an act. Like, I would argue that the elites in Washington, and certainly the Democratic leadership, need to figure out what really matters.
I disagree. I don't disagree. I've been a little disheartened with what's going on with Washington Democrats. And the fact is, respectfully, House Democrats had a meeting, an emergency meeting called after the freeze got disbanded by the courts. It was like a day late and an hour short. The messaging here is something that doesn't inspire a great deal of confidence. I mean, I'm looking towards, for example, Democrats need to focus on things that matter to the American public and not disregarding their activist base. I actually think they need to listen to the base. And the base is angry, but they're also looking for direction. And the funding freeze is something that is driving people crazy with uncertainty. But we're not looking to Washington, D.C. We're looking to Jeff Jackson, who's the Attorney General of North Carolina, Aaron Ford, who's the Attorney General of the great state of Nevada. I mean, these individuals who can fight back. And while we're up here talking about the fact, you have Democrats who are talking about, oh my God, I'm afraid the DOD is taking away King Day. Yeah, okay, I hear you, right? That's one thing. That's stupid. Sean Duffy talking about King Day and all this other stuff when we have a crash. But there are really bread and butter issues that Democrats have been focused on, and we have to learn how to articulate those issues to the American public. And right now, Washington Democrats.
I gotta tell you what, all right, I hope Democrats start listening to the base more and decide that they did nothing wrong last time. Because it's the liberal progressive base that got Democrats beating this election. It's real easy to say no after they lose. The Democrats got to figure out how to say yes. They got to figure out which things Donald Trump's doing that are popular that they can support. That's how you climb back out of the hole of being the minority in both branches of both chambers of Congress and the White House. You have to figure out where did we go wrong? Let's stop doing that.
Right now, Democrats have not yet gotten to that phase of this pro-Trump council.
So Jamie Harrison, the outgoing Democratic National Committee Chair, suggested in an interview with the Associated Press, the Democrats should have stuck by him. He said, quote, when he hits a roadblock, when he hits a bump in the road, we stick with him and be jettison. My nature is I'm on the team with you, you're my quarterback, you got sacked 10 times. You know what? I'm going to block the hell out of the next person that's coming at you. What's your take? Do you think that that was the big mistake of 2024 and not sticking with Biden?
No. With all due respect to President Biden, who I, of course, voted for in 2020 and deeply respect, I think that the right decision would have been for President Biden to step down well over a year ago, had a competitive primary for the presidency. We are in an era where people do want change. People are struggling. People are not happy with the status quo. We saw that across the world. No incumbent won the election. So it would have been the right opportunity to have a competitive primary election to see who is really the best placed Democrat to lead us forward, who is hungry, who has the vision, who can really resonate with working people in this country. And I think that is the vision forward. We have many young, bright, talented people in Congress on the Democratic side now, and lots of people who know how to make elections as well. More help this time. This is the closest slim majority that Republicans have in many, many years. And so I think that we have what it takes to win. We just need to be able to cultivate the right leaders.
All right. Thanks, everybody, for being here. We'll be right back.
After every challenge, you bounce back stronger. Now your damaged hair can too. New Dove Intensive Repair. Liquid bioprotein hair plus amino serum. Hair with 1 trillion amino acid naturally found in hair. For hair reborn 10 times stronger. New Dove Intensive Repair. Dexcom G7 sends your glucose numbers to your phone and watch, so you can always see where you're heading without finger sticks. Dexcom G7 is the most accurate CGM, so you can manage your diabetes with confidence.
As we age, we get lines. And it's okay. But our makeup needs change. That's why I created Lipa Foundation. It's ultra moisturizing and melts seamlessly into your skin. Learn more at JonesRoadBeauty.com.
Whoa, how'd you get your teeth so white?
You gotta use the right toothpaste.
Look, you see? Not all toothpaste white the same. Recipe White removes 100% more stains for a noticeably whiter smile. New personal best.
$73. How much you spend every month on subscriptions?
I only have like 2 or 3, right?
That's what we all think. But in reality, there's so much more that we don't even know we're paying for.
So I might put more cash back in my pocket.
So everybody's a financial app that shows you every subscription you're paying for. Even that money you put up from Microsoft.
Oh, give me wants to pay this. I'll put this.
Oh, we don't want to cancel the point.
Really?
Yeah. All you have to do is tap the button and then take care of it. Download Rock Money today.
Hey, whoa, that's it. You're going from the bench. It's not dog food. It's fresh meat. Real meat, real veggies. For my boy, too. What are we doing here? Yes, we were at grandma's.
Vicks VapoStick provides soothing, non-medicated Vicks vapors. Easy to apply for the whole family. Vicks VapoStick. And try new Vapor Shower Max for steamy Vicks vapors.
Dr. Marks, there were many filament tips to fix my teeth. Research all my wedding photos. Nothing affects my health. I trusted you because you specialize in dental implants. You created a permanent solution and customized my teeth so it still felt like me. My new teeth have improved my life and changed my future. Thank you.
Get the smile you want from the #1 provider of fixed full arch dental implants in the U.S. Schedule a free consultation.
My hair was thinning all around my hairline.
Our dermatologist recommended Nutrafol. It's 100% drug-free and clinically tested.
My hair is longer, thicker.
Nutrafol is life changing.
Get growing at Nutrafol.com.
Public.com is the one place where you can invest in almost everything. Stocks, options, bonds, crypto. You can even lock in a 6% or higher yield. All of your investing in one place. Get up to $10,000 from your transfer account to Public.com.
You know that thing your family does? Yeah, that thing. Someone made it a thing way back in the day. But where did it come from? And how did it get all the way to you? Curious? Ancestry can help you find out. Because that thing has a story, and it's still being written. See for yourself at Ancestry.
Working GLP-1 for half the price. Weight loss injections cheaper. With results you can see faster. Lose 50% of your weight with a formula from Eli Lilly. See if you qualify at pro.com/TV.
Closed captioning is brought to you by Ucora. Help maintain a healthy urinary tract with Ucora.
I've had UTIs for 10 years. At Sephora, we make UTI relief products. We also make proactive urinary tract health products. Sephora is a nice. Try today at Sephora.com.
The deadliest American plane crash in 20 years. Anderson Cooper will take a closer look at the safety of our skies tonight at 7 p.m. only here on CNN. Thank you for spending your Sunday morning with us. Reach Party GPS starts.
Lay on my back, frozen, thinking the darkest thoughts. And then everything changed. And it said, "You're still you, and I love you."
Christopher Reeve tonight at 8 on CNN.
Subway's got a new meal of the day. Chips to drink for just $6.99. Or if you're big hungry, make it a football for only $3 more. Huh, big hungry. Is that a thing? That should be a thing. Find your version. The all new $6.99 meal of the day at Subway.
They say seeing is believing, but with Stearns & Foster, that's only part of the story. We handcraft every Stearns & Foster using the finest materials like indulgent memory foam and ultra-conforming IntelliCoils for a beautiful mattress and indescribable comfort every single night. During our President's Day sale, bring home incredible comfort with savings up to $800 on select adjustable mattress sets. Stearns & Foster, but comfort should. Learn more at stearnsandfoster.com.
Weight loss.
For so long,
I felt stuck. The Zepbound needs change. Zepbound is for adults with obesity to help lose weight and keep it off. Creating 2 more naturally occurring hormone receptors in my body, it works differently.
It's changing what I believe is possible when it comes to weight loss. It's changing how much weight I lose, up to 48 pounds.
And changing what happens. Don't take an allergy to it, or if you or somebody in the family have medullary thyroid cancer or multiple endocrine neoplasia syndrome type 2. Tell your doctor if you get a lump or swelling in your neck. Stop Zepbound and call your doctor if you have severe stomach pain or serious allergic reaction. Severe side effects may include inflamed pancreas or gallbladder problems. Tell your doctor if you're experiencing vision changes, taking a sulfonylurea or insulin, having suicidal thoughts, if you're nursing, pregnant, plan to be, or taking birth control pills. Side effects include nausea, diarrhea, and vomiting, which can cause dehydration and worsen kidney problems. Zepbound means change.
And when it comes to weight loss,
Change is good. Discover a weight loss you could be out for. Talk to your doctor about Zepbound. We just signed a lease on our 3rd shop. My assistant went to customing.com to get new uniforms with all the locations. Keep out great products, uploaded new art, and had boxes sent to all the shops. Customing makes it so easy. Get started today at customing.com.
48% of Americans don't get enough magnesium, which is vital for bone, nerve, and muscle health. I recommend Qunol Magnesium Glycinate. It's formulated for high absorption and is gentle on the stomach. Qunol, the brand I trust.
Robinhood Gold members get 3% high-power payment. When the wealthy report their perks, our retirement contributions are boosted by 3%. Now, Robinhood.
Hi, I'm Jay Jackson. For almost 20 years, Abacus Life has been purchasing life insurance policies for seniors. And in just seconds, you can use the free calculator at abacuspace.com to learn what your policy might be worth.
For many of my clients, selling their life insurance to Abacus was right for them and their estate plan.
Don't sell or lapse your policy without going to abacuspace.com first. There are no fees and no obligations.
Get the real value from your life insurance when you need the values.
Your business made limitless. That's Life Unlimited. $6 never tasted so good. IHOP's breakfast base combo is now just $6. Featuring IHOP's world famous buttermilk pancakes, crispy hickory smoked bacon, and 2 eggs cooked to order in your way. All for just $6. Part of the new $6 house phase menu.
Now's the time for a free deal on a new home from the Kelly Blue Best Value Rank. Buy online, reserve from select dealers, or hurry into your local Honda dealer today.
For the most comfortable, luxurious, eco-friendly, and handcrafted American-made mattresses on the market today. Delivered and set up in any room of your house. Sapa. Luxury mattresses made of
This is GPS, the Global Public Spring. Welcome to all of you in the United States and around the world. I'm Fareed Zakaria coming to you live from New York. Today on the program, President Trump announced 25% tariffs on Canada and Mexico and 10% on China. Outgoing Canadian Prime Minister Trudeau retaliated with 25% tariffs on many American goods. I'll talk to Chrystia Freeland, Canada's former finance minister, who's a front-runner to replace Trudeau as PM. Then, what does it mean to be a Jew today, after October 7th, after the war in Gaza? Peter Beinart offers his perspective for the new book and here on GPS. Also, artificial intelligence was atop the headlines again this week as a Chinese company announced a stunning development. I talked to LinkedIn co-founder Reid Hoffman about the news and about how AI can actually improve all our lives. But first, here's my take. Is this a Sputnik moment? The world has reacted with astonishment to the release of a Chinese AI model from DeepSeek, which appears to be able to perform as well, in some cases better, than ChatGPT and other cutting-edge models put out by US companies. Americans have assumed that their massive lead in funding, access to high-quality chips, and innovation would keep them well ahead. That assumption now looks like hubris. The episode does raise big questions, in some ways much bigger than the ones raised by Sputnik. Sputnik, after all, was about the Soviet government's space program versus that of the US government. Few thought that the Soviet economy was in general more technologically advanced than Americans. But DeepSeek is a private Chinese company that demonstrated its stunning prowess on the cheap in the most important technology for the future. There are all sorts of questions about just how much DeepSeek's model actually cost, whether it needed to use US models for training, and whether there was any quasi-Chinese government help. But given the enormous efforts that the United States has made over the last few years, chip bans, export controls, etc., DeepSeek has made a remarkable achievement. It suggests to me two lessons and two questions. The first lesson is that over time, open systems are likely to outperform closed systems in AI. An open system is like Lego blocks with the instructions. A closed one is a built Lego structure with the instructions kept secret. Many have pointed out that DeepSeek used Meta's open source Llama model to train. It also used Qwen, a family of AI models, also open source, put out by the Chinese technology giant Alibaba. While DeepSeek is currently the best, China's big technology companies have been releasing a number of artificial intelligence models, mostly open source, that are getting better and better. If the history of technology is any guide, the ability to see the innards of these models and understand their reasoning should lead to greater and faster tech innovation than using closed models that others can't use for collaboration. Second, constraints can be useful, as Intel's former CEO, Pat Gelsinger, has noted. Just as art sometimes flourishes in repressive environments where restrictions force artists to be creative, so also engineers often operate best under constraints. Forced to use second-tier chips, Chinese engineers produce creative workarounds.
That's not just true with DeepSeek. In 2023, the Chinese telecommunications giant Huawei released a phone with a 7-nanometer chip, a kind that had been explicitly banned by US export controls. There is some evidence that after years of sclerosis, China's chip makers have responded to American bans by becoming more innovative. In a fascinating recent interview, Liang Wenfeng, the CEO of DeepSeek, also argues that his engineers are more motivated by doing research than making money, and seems to contrast that attitude with the one prevalent in Silicon Valley, which is all about maximizing revenue, providing cloud services, generating cash flow. Demis Hassabis, who leads Google's DeepMind and won the Nobel Prize for its scientific breakthroughs, is said to have fought to keep his team in London, far from Silicon Valley, so that they can focus on basic research. The first question that DeepSeek raises is, can the US stop China from advancing along the technology frontier? Some argue that DeepSeek shows that export controls work. The model used many NVIDIA chips that were once cutting edge, but soon China will not have access to the best chips and will suffer more from the ban. But as we've learned with rounds and rounds of global sanctions on Russia, the world economy is very large and porous. Stuff gets through. And China is not Russia. It is a vast, technologically sophisticated economy with millions of software developers and hundreds of high-quality firms in the technology space. Human talent on that scale will find ways to innovate, even if the measures keep China slightly behind. The second question, what is the cost of this approach? If technology bans and export controls at best keep China behind a year, maybe just several months, is that gain worth the cost? The cost is Chinese retaliation, limiting America's access to key materials that it needs for high technology. More important, a decoupled global economy also creates a closed ecosystem in which American technology companies will not face competition from the best. Is Tesla going to innovate at the highest levels if it is not facing its strongest Chinese rival? And finally, a technology decoupling means that AI will become the central part of a new global arms race, totally unregulated and unconstrained, as the world's two largest economies hurtle towards superintelligence, no holds barred, and incorporate it into all military applications, including nuclear weapons. If artificial intelligence is as revolutionary a technology as we think it might end up being, having it unleashed in every realm of human life with absolutely no guardrails points to a scary future, one far more dangerous than anything people imagined because of the Sputnik satellite. Go to CNN.com/free for a link to my Washington Post column this week. And let's get started. Yesterday, President Trump ordered tough new tariffs on America's top three trading partners, China, Mexico, and Canada. Its northern neighbor was hit with a 25% tariff on all exports to the U.S., except for a lower 10% rate on energy and oil. Hours later, Canada's Prime Minister Justin Trudeau responded with a 25% levy on many American goods, solemnly saying, quote, "We didn't ask for this," unquote. Joining me now is Chrystia Freeland. She served as Canada's Deputy Prime Minister and Finance Minister under Trudeau until she resigned in December. Her move helped bring down Trudeau's premiership. She's now one of the front runners to replace him in upcoming party elections. Chrystia Freeland, pleasure to have you on. So Donald Trump says that the reason he's doing this is, the ask, and this is the justification, is the fentanyl trade, the fentanyl that is coming in from Canada and Mexico. The bizarre part about this is not a lot of fentanyl comes into the United States from Canada. I mean, I think the latest numbers we have is, 43 pounds coming out of Canada and 21,000 pounds coming out of Mexico. So what You negotiated with Donald Trump before, over the NAFTA renewal renegotiation. Why is he doing this to Canada? What is the motivation? It can't really be fentanyl.
You're absolutely right, Fareed. The pretexts are utterly ludicrous. This action is utter madness. It is a betrayal of America's closest friend, of your ally, your neighbor, your best partner in the whole world. It is an act of economic warfare. And the president was clear just this morning that it is a direct attack on our sovereignty. And I have to tell you, Fareed, Americans are going to be astonished by the Canadian response. We're hurt, for sure, because we're your friends and neighbors. But most of all, we're angry, and we are united and resolute. And Canada is the true north, strong and free. We love our country, and we are united. We are strong. We're smart. We're going to fight for our country. We're going to fight for Canada, and we're going to be successful.
So let's put a little bit of substance on that. You're a much smaller economy than the United States. 75% of your exports come to the United States, where I think the other way around is like 12%. There's only so much you can do to retaliate with an economy that much larger than yours. So how do you do it in a way that's effective?
Well, first of all, we have more leverage than Americans think. Canada is the largest market for the United States, larger than China, Japan, the UK, and France combined. And we don't you guys, the customer is always right. We're your biggest customer. Doesn't make a lot of sense to be punching us in the face. The second thing, Fareed, as you know very well, is American tariffs are self-harming. And by putting tariffs on the stuff that Canada sells you are going to hurt Americans. You have put a tariff, you're putting a tariff on the oil and gas that we sell you. That is going to make prices at the pump, prices at grocery stores a lot higher. And the final thing, Fareed, is this matters to us so much more than it matters to you. Our very sovereignty is at stake. You are seeing a phenomenal, united and resolute response across Canada. And for Americans, does this really matter to you at all? I mean, do Americans wake up in the morning and say, wow, we got to beat up on those Canadians? I don't think so. I think Americans actually recognize that we're a great partner, a great neighbor, a great friend, that this is ridiculous. It is not worth Americans suffering under this. As the Prime Minister said, we do not want this conflict, but we're not going to give in.
Stay with us. When we come back, I'm going to ask Mr. Freeman, does this mean that countries like Canada, Mexico, will find new markets and new alliances in places like China when we come back?
Fareed Zakaria, GPS. Brought to you by Fisher Investments. Clearly different money management.
We just want to have a money for retirement.
And travel to visit our grandchildren.
I understand. That's why at Fisher Investments, we start by getting to know each other. So I can learn about your family, lifestyle, goals and needs, allowing us to tailor your portfolio.
What about commission-based products?
We don't sell those. We're a fiduciary obligated to act in your best interest.
So how do your management fees work?
We have a transparent fee structure so we do better for the new product. At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different.
If you have high blood pressure or diabetes and get a cough, cold, or flu, Safe Custom is specially formulated for you. Powerful, safe, and effective cough, cold, and flu relief is formulated so it won't raise your blood pressure or impact your blood sugar. Play it safe with Safe Custom.
With moderate to severe plaque psoriasis, my skin was no longer mine.
My active psoriatic arthritis joint symptoms held me back. Don't let symptoms define you. Emerge as you with clearer skin. With Trembaya, most people saw 100% clear skin that stayed clear, even at 5 years. Trembaya is proven to significantly reduce joint pain, stiffness, and swelling.
Serious allergic reactions and increased risk of infections may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and TB. Tell your doctor if you have an infection. 3 symptoms before getting the vaccine.
Emerge as you with clear skin. Ask your doctor about Tremfya.
I believe that love really coming forward. You can have prosperity and you can have peace.
These are amazing times because we're at the beginning of a new industrial revolution.
It's the future that is going to make us, the future that is going to reveal opportunities and risks.
We need a sustainable energy development. It's affordable, it's secure, and it's efficient.
Subway's got a new deal of the day. Chips and a drink for just $6.99. Or if you're big hungry, they have only $3 more. Huh, big hungry. Is that a thing? That should be a thing. Find your crush. The all-new $6.99 meal of the day at Subway.
Tempur-Pedic designed the Ergo Smart Base to help you fall asleep more easily. Its gentle massage and relaxing sounds help calm your mind every night. During our President's Day sale, save up to $500 in select adjustable mattress sets.
Hi, Grandma. I played baseball today. Oh, that's great.
What position did you play?
First base. That's what Grandpa used to play. When our hearing wouldn't allow us to use a regular phone, it made us feel isolated.
It became difficult to communicate with our friends and family.
Clear captions was an easy solution for us.
Clear Captions provides captions on the phone, like captioning on your TV, so you can see what the caller is saying live as they say it.
Making it easy to understand and respond immediately.
There is no insurance or Medicare required. Clear Caption service is provided at no cost to you through a federally funded program. We deliver, install, and train you on how to use your phone, all at no cost to you.
Give your loved ones the independence and connection they deserve.
Call now to see if you qualify to get a Clear Captions phone at no cost to you. Call 1-800-592-1334. That's 1-800-592-1334.
Want a next level clean? Switch with the Whoa of Listerine. It kills 99.9% of bad breath germs for 5 times more cleaning power than brushing and flossing alone. Get a next level clean with Listerine. Feel the Whoa.
TheraVital Advanced has been such a game changer for me. TheraVital Advanced reduces wrinkles and promotes weight loss.
My skin looks healthier. I literally shed a few pounds in the first couple of weeks.
Learn more at trytheravital.com.
Closed captioning brought to you by mesobook.com. If you or a loved one have music related, we'll send you a free book to answer questions you may have. Call now and we'll come to you.
800-821-4000.
And we are back with Christopher Freedom, a former top official in Canadian Prime Minister Trudeau's government, and now a front runner to take his job. Christopher Freedom, when you look at this situation where the United States is basically levying tariffs on its closest allies, particularly Canada, really its oldest ally, does it make you think Canada is going to have to make its way in the road and find new markets and new friends? And of course, China, the second largest economy, comes up and gets it backwards?
We have so many friends and even family members in the United States. Our preference and our hope is that you guys are going to come to your senses. Our preference and our hope is that we can go back to a win-win North American partnership. I mean, currently, our trade should be governed by the USMCA, which we negotiated with President Trump. When we signed that deal, he said it was the best trade deal ever. So what we really want is for all the Americans who are listening to say, what the heck is going on? Can we replace it and to get back to a reasonable, mutually beneficial relationship? That is it.
And when you have thought about this, and you've talked about, 20% tariffs on some things, you talked about a boycott of American goods, which would be not a formal legal thing, but you're just urging Canadians to stop buying American goods when they go to grocery stores. Is it also, are you also thinking in your proposals of doing something on oil? We import a lot of oil.
Okay, I'm glad you mentioned the boycott because that is already happening across the country. Americans have to understand how hurt and frankly how furious Canadians are
our sovereignty is being challenged. And so, yeah, regular Canadians across the country are coming up with ways to stand for Canada, to fight for Canada, to defend Canada, but mostly to say to our American neighbors, guys, just cut it out. Just stop it. This is a terrible idea. And yes, we are going to use all the tools in our toolbox. We mentioned a little bit earlier how the United States depends on China for critical minerals and metals that you need for semiconductors, that you need to build electric vehicles. Well, guess who also produces those? Canada. You depend on us for a lot, and we are happy to work together, but it's got to be a two-way street.
So you did negotiate with Trump, and so you do have a sense of it. And I'm wondering, what do you think is going on? Because the fentanyl reasoning, is plainly not important. Canada, I think it sends 0.002% of the fentanyl that Mexico sends. That passes through Mexico is all really coming because of American demand for it. But he then talked about making Canada the 51st state. So obviously, again, not going to happen. What is he doing? In your view, what is he trying to do?
Look, that is, of course, a question first and foremost for the president. You're totally right. Pretext for GL totally ludicrous. I think we all do know one thing. The one thing he respects is strength, and if he sees weakness, if he smells weakness, he pushes harder and harder and harder. And so what you are going to see, America is going to see, what the world is going to see from Canada is total strength, total beauty, and a very smart, surgical, strategic approach.
Now, you're an economist yourself, so very distinguished career as a writer and economics. When you look at where we are, a trade war between the United States and its closest ally, possibly Peterson Institute says that this could produce inflation in the United States on a fairly significant scale. I think they have a chart that shows that it could go up 3-4%. Does that leave you thinking we're entering, a kind of a much less prosperous world? Because economics is meant to be about win-win, not win-lose. This almost feels like lose-lose because both economies, the U.S. and Canada, will be worse off after all this.
You're totally right. The path the U.S. is on right now is a lose-lose path. And at the end of the day, you cannot defy the laws of economics. You're exactly right to say the people who are going to suffer from this the most are Americans, including the Americans who voted for Trump. The president has decided now to make gas in the United States more expensive. He's decided to make groceries in the United States more expensive. And our retaliation is going to cost Americans jobs. That is completely ridiculous. We do not want to do this. And the right thing for Americans to do right now is kind of shake their heads and say, guys, the Canadians actually are great partners. They're great neighbors. Let's not do this. Because I want to tell you, Canada is formidable. We are resolute. We are determined. We know what we're fighting for. We don't want to have this fight, but we're not going to lose it.
And finally, Priscilla, I see you're very well plugged in to many American CEOs. And a lot of the production that takes place, car production, for example, is completely joint. I mean, these products, auto products, go back and forth across the border. It's all kind of assembled in a North American supply chain. Are you hearing from them, because the business community seems to be crucial here, are you hearing from them that they're going to call up President Trump or let him know that this is bad for business, bad for American businesses like General Motors?
I sure am. And, as we know, a part in a car crosses the border 6 to 8 times before that car is finished. Think about that. Think about what a tariff war does to Detroit. This is, yesterday was a terrible day for Canada. It was a really black day for Detroit. This is going to be a very bad day for the stock market, which we know the president cares about a lot. And we're already hearing, for example, from the United Steelworkers, a really important constituency for the president, they've come out already and said, let's not do this. This is a bad idea. It's a bad idea for workers.
You gotta leave it. Christian Freedom, always a pleasure to have you. Thank you. And we will be back.
Superman. Superman story tonight at 8 on CNN. Buying a car is kind of a big deal. How do you know if it's the right car for you? Ooh. The most fuel ratings in complete vehicle history for car owners. That's how. Boom.
Is here, and I needed it. It's my fridge. It's super empty. It's so easy to just whip together a quick, healthy meal. For healthy groceries and simple recipes. Plus, get free veggies for life.
Now taxes? It's getting the TurboTax app. And file your taxes yourself, 100% free, no file for this last year. Now this is taxes. File free the app by 218 and switch to TurboTax to do it yourself.
In our place for $19, we fired our housekeeper. Homegrown tackle everything, from our kitchen to our bathroom, all our laundry. You just pick a date, pick a cleaner, and enjoy a spotless house for $19.
When my hair started thinning, I didn't want to hear the last words.
I was ignoring my hair because I was a full-time working mother, but luckily I found neutral.
My hair was even stronger and thicker.
I finally feel like myself again.
Would you like to receive a discount or get a full price?
Full price. Kind of ridiculous, right? Well, so's not taking advantage of an AARP membership. With access to hundreds of programs and services like Family Care and the Fraud Watch Net. Plus, all these discounts and your membership matters as AARP advocates for healthcare, Social Security, and more. And here's a ridiculous offer. Just $15 the first year with automatic payment, plus a second membership free. AARP magazine and a free gift. Call or go online now.
I thought I had a thought.
Regan Light Extended Movie Formula for dry eyes. Easy to apply for the whole family. Vicks Vapor Stick. And try new Vapor Shower Max for steamy Vicks Vapors. What's that? I got a question. Sure. Hi, 1 second. I use Prince.
What's Prince?
The company that we got. And Olivia Marketing. I'm not sure. Prince guarantees your satisfaction. I've been here for months now. Okay, wait, I'm gonna do my. Sure, protein. 30 grams protein, 1 gram sugar, and a protein blend to feed muscles up to 7 hours. TMZ True TV Extreme or Max.
Yeah, Ramsey Smart Tax may not have flashy ads at halftime, but that's a good thing. If you do it all, it'll be banned for. Our tax offering gives you all the forms you need at a budget-friendly price without hidden fees. So you can Ramsey Smart Tax and buy it easily and affordably.
Research. This is my start was today.
Some of the breeze makes so when you're sweating all night, don't blast in the air conditioning because the tempered breeze feels up to 10 degrees cooler all night long. During our President's Day sale, save up to $500 on select adjustable.
Jewish people around the world reckon with the terrible suffering in Gaza over the last 16 months. That is the subject of a new, deeply personal book by my next guest. Peter Beinart is a political thinker, a writer, and a professor. He's also a religious Jew who attends an Orthodox synagogue, and his views on Israel have evolved over his lifetime from avid support to sparing critique. The book is called Being Jewish After the Destruction of Gaza, a reckoning. Let me begin, Peter, by asking you, since we've known each other a long time, when you were, you were somebody who believed in a very, very militant Israel. What changed, and when did it change?
It began to change the very first day that I spent with Palestinians on the West Bank. You know, I had gone to Israel all my life. Very important to me, very important to my family. I still love being in Israel. It's a very special place to me. And the first day I spent time with Palestinians in the West Bank, I realized I knew almost nothing about what Israel had meant to them, and the conditions under which they were living were more brutal than I had been able to imagine. And when I faced that, it began a process that has led me to a place that I really would not have expected. It leads me to an idea that many people in the Jewish community and Americans think is radical and outlandish, which is the idea of all people should be treated equally under the law, irrespective of their religion and ethnicity and race, which is the principle that we're struggling for in the United States and that most American Jews emphatically believe in every country except for in Israel. The very same American Jews who think that Israeli Jews cannot possibly be safe unless they rule in Israel, in a Jewish state, are placing our own children's safety, betting it on the principle of equality in the law here. And you know what? We are safer than Jews in Israel. Israel is the most dangerous place for a Jew to live of any large diaspora community. And I think that's because when you deny people their basic rights, you inflict tremendous violence on them. And that violence endangers you as well. Israeli Jewish political culture has become accustomed to supremacy. Illegal supremacy over Palestinians is simply taken for granted, and it is equated with safety. The supremacy means safety, which is the same way that white South Africans felt during apartheid, the same way that white Southerners felt during Jim Crow, the same way that Protestants felt in Northern Ireland. The argument of this book is to those people to say, look at those other places. People became safer when everyone got a voice in government, because when people have a voice in government, they don't need to take up arms to get the government to listen to them.
You talk about the suffering in Gaza, but what do you make of the event that precipitated that suffering, by which I mean the Hamas attack? And what does that tell you about Palestinians' willingness to live alongside Jews?
That was one of the darkest days of my life. It was a trauma that still hasn't healed, probably will never heal for Jews in Israel, but also Jews around the world. We still have on our refrigerator door the names of all the hostages that we learn about them, right? Whether they're still alive or whether they've been freed. So there's no decent person can deny the horror of what happened. But one has to understand the context in which it happened. One has to understand that understanding context is not justification. And you can't understand how to prevent future October 7th without understanding the conditions in which Palestinians live. That Human Rights Watch called this an open-air prison. That the United Nations said it was unlivable for human beings. They were penned into a ghetto half the size of New York City. They could never leave. And if you want to deal with that violence, you have to deal with structural oppression. Unfortunately, throughout human history, people who are brutally oppressed have responded in inhumane ways.
And when you talk about, being Jewish after the destruction of Gaza, do you think there's something particular that, how do you think, what is the Jewish obligation in witnessing this destruction?
Well, this is being done in our name by a Jewish state. And I think what has happened in the Jewish world is that the state has become an object of worship. The state is treated as a god. In many Jewish institutions in the United States, Israel, around the world, you are getting more trouble if you question the legitimacy of the state than if you question the authority of the Torah and the existence of God. There's something fundamentally wrong here. And I talk in the book about what Jewish tradition says about idolatry, which is the worship of anything that is created by human beings. When you say that a state has unconditional value, you are treating it as an idol. And so in the Jewish world, we insist again and again, American politicians, does Israel have a right to exist as a Jewish state? And my point is, the question should be asking is, do the people who live under Israeli control have a right to exist? It's the life of the children in Gaza that we should consider of unconditional value. And then you ask, is the state doing a good job of protecting that life? And if not, maybe the state should be rethought.
As a Jew, as a religious Jew, you are in a lonely place, right? I mean, assuming that this argument is not easily received, and so you're not going to synagogues and talking about this. Do you have platform?
Not as many as I would like. You know, nobody likes a turncoat, a traitor, especially people that imagine ourselves as a family, as I think about, and as new people who suffered a lot, and still it lives with the trauma of October 7th, the ongoing trauma that exists in Israel. But the thing that gives me hope is how many young American Jews I hear from who say, I feel betrayed by our community. I was raised to believe that Judaism believes in the infinite dignity and worth of all human life, and that we believe in fierce and open debate. That's what they say it means to be a Jew for them. And they say, I don't see that in our community. We need this dissent, loving dissent, to be better versions of ourselves.
And that note, Peter Banner, pleasure to have you.
Thanks a lot.
All right, we are going to move from the tragic world of the Middle East to the technology of the future. I'll talk to the tech entrepreneur, Reid Hoffman. Deep sea at the promise of AI.
The last thing in the semester pass away. Everybody watched him become this force.
None of us heard that. So he did it in a way that the world watched. Listen now, it's Cody, the linking of the legend, Saturday at 9 on CNN.
To my son, I've never been the cool dad. I was going to know what he's up to online. But with TikTok's privacy settings being more by default for teens under 16, accounts are set to private. He cannot send or receive DMs, and only his friends can comment. So he can post away, and I've got one less thing to worry about.
So, Dad, how old do you have to get a tattoo?
Teen safety settings on by default.
This might be a surprise, but I'm a makeup artist who doesn't love traditional foundation. That's why I created What the Foundation. It's a game-changing hybrid formula that has light coverage, so you'll barely notice you have anything on.
Someone special? Yeah, it's that in the coach. It's not it's great, but real meat, real veggies for Peter.
That's Peter. Should have known.
I think you're a pretty cute couple.
You enjoy the overwhelming relief after Miralax helps you go. Miralax helps naturally water your body, putting you in a supernaturally good mood. Miralax, free your guts to free your mood.
This is what it feels like to file a tax return. Confidence in your guaranteed maximum refund. Here, Lizzie.
Hi, Grandma. I played baseball today.
What position did you play?
First base.
In our hearing, it wouldn't allow us to use a regular phone. It made us feel isolated.
It became difficult to communicate with our friends and family.
Clear captions was an easy solution for us.
Clear Captions provides captions on a phone like captioning on your TV, so you can see what the caller is saying live as they say.
Making it easy to understand and respond immediately.
There is no insurance or Medicare required. Clear Caption service is provided at no cost to you through a federally funded program. We deliver, install, and train you on how to use your phone.
Give your life a
To see if you qualify to get a Clear Captions phone at no cost to you. Call 1-800-592-1334. That's 1-800-592-1334. Therapeutic praise means
Well, I wonder who my one true fan is that's watching my stream. Interestingly.
By amateurs or pros, supplements are doctor developed purity and potency.
Here you
We would love to join you.
Consumer Cellular ranked #1 in network coverage and customer satisfaction. Hi. Sounds like when they had to eat.
Only coverage.
And plans start at $20.
Okay, friends.
Get your second month free when you switch to Consumer Cellular.
What a day. Make money. What? Don't get money, you know. Okay. Yeah, which is great.
To remain optimistic about the possibilities of this amazing new technology. Tech entrepreneur and co-founder of LinkedIn, Reid Hoffman has a new book called Super Agency: What This Process Chase is also on the board of an industrial many companies involved in AI, including Microsoft. So let me first ask you, DeepSeek. Perspective of what I described. Tell me what's your basic takeaway from the DeepSeek release?
Well, the principal thing I think in your excellent article that I agreed with was the fact that constraints do create good innovation. And that's one of the things that we should always do. The constraints of training in a much more constrained environment, there'll be lessons that come from that. We should learn those lessons as well. Doesn't necessarily mean you want to adopt those constraints. It's like, well, do you want to run a race with like weights tied around your ankles? You know, it makes you stronger in some cases, but not always great on the race.
So let's talk about the part of the book. People look at AI and there's a lot of fears about it. Would you want to remind
So the principal thing is it gives us superpowers. And what's great, this is part of our super agency, is when both you and I get the superpowers, we actually get more superpowers, not just the one we get individually. So to think about what you can get with AI, a medical assistant that better than average GP on every smartphone that runs for under $5 an hour, right? That is transformative. Most people don't have access to a doctor at 11 p.m. Some people can go to emergency room, right? And so how do you make that happen? A tutor on every subject for every age. And then, of course, part of the work transformation is, I think within a very small number of years, when anyone deploys as a professional, they'll deploy with AI agents helping them do what we're doing. That is part of the reason why we're in this cognitive revolution. Everything that we're heading for is super important.